One hit changed the entire weekend. Gash hitting Edwards like a truck. And just like that, the league wasn't just talking about scores anymore. It was talking about the line. What's clean, what's dangerous, and what this sport is supposed to look like when it's played at full speed. The games were tight, the energy felt different, and you could feel the temperature rising across the league. And today, I've got Alyssa Wahl on the show. We talk about her journey through this game from every angle, playing, coaching, officiating, and what it actually takes to stay involved at a high level in multiple roles. Big weekend, real conversations. Let's get right into it. Welcome back. My name is Jake McDonald. I'm Anything Lacrosse, and this is Game Never Sit Still. Right away, leave me a comment on what you want to see in these episodes, and I will try to incorporate it in there. Go follow the socials at the Anything Lacrosse Show, Anything Lacrosse, just Anything Lacrosse on TikTok, and join the Discord. There's great conversations in there that happen on a daily basis. So kicking off today's show, I usually start out with 2 topics. I'm going to talk about 3 different topics before we get into this, because one of these needed to be addressed. This is the Mackie Jenner situation, okay? So Mackie Jenner was the first female play-by-play commentator ever to do a game in the NLL, which is absolutely huge. The NLL, like I've been talking about, I actually brought this up a couple podcasts ago, is how well the NLL has done in incorporating females in. And I've seen almost 99% of the comments were positive. Stupid idiot in there, but Mackie has earned her stripes in this area, and she deserved this spot. This isn't something that was given to her. This is something that she was earned. And if you go back and watch the actual game and listen to her, she did a phenomenal job. If you go listen to some other broadcasters in this league, and I'm not going to call out anybody specifically, because at the end of the day, I'm always trying to improve on myself on doing this, because I know that I can be monotone sometimes, but I find some of these announcers are very, very monotoned. And this is something that Jake Elliott mentioned to me when I specifically asked him, okay, this isn't Jake just coming out and just trashing me. I specifically said, is there anything I could do better that you would recommend? And he gave me some really good constructive criticism that I have tried to improve myself. And I'm sure there are times that I'm listening to my own podcast and I can notice when I'm getting certainly a little bit monotone, and I try to correct it, or even after, I'll note it down for next time I'm recording so I don't do it. So I'm always trying to improve, right? So with Mackie though, she brings passion. She's so well spoken. She's knowledgeable in the sport. She's earned this. The only thing that I'm going to say about this in this situation is that, this was a huge moment for Mackie as a female and for females in lacrosse. I can completely understand that. But at the end of the day, I think Mackie is even better than that. I think that she is actually one of the best broadcasters in the league right now. Like, if I was going to have a game where I wanted to sit down and listen to it, Mackie's probably right up there with people that I would want to listen to, right? She's at least, I'm going to say, in that top 5 for sure, in my opinion. And, you can disagree with me on that one, but she's really good at her job. And I think we're going to see years and years to come from this. And I hope one day that I would love to be able to call a game with her or something, even if it wasn't an NLL game, just a lower game. But she's actually one person that I will watch and I try to learn off of. I try to listen to what she's doing, how she's talking, how her voice is changing and stuff. Since I've been doing content, I've noticed that when I listen to people, I really listen to how they're speaking and the way they're talking. So I find Mackie, to me, is somebody that I actually really enjoy listening to, but also somebody that I try to base my own skills on as well. It's somebody that I'm really looking towards, right? Like Patty's one of them that I like listening to, that I really find that. Jake Elliott's another one that I really like listening to, that I find he's good at. That broadcaster voice is the best way. And Mackie's got this too, right? Which is something I still think I really need to work on. But anyway, I always get off topic in these, but shout out to Mackie Jenner. She did an amazing job. And to anybody who is trying to say this is a DEI hire or anything like that, you're fucking stupid. I can tell you, if you're talking about just pure skill level, who's the best announcer out there right now? She's got to be, not like, I don't want to give her this much credit because I know she's only called one game, but even the way she does her, her interviews and just the way she holds herself and all this different stuff. The one comment that I seen, and I know I shouldn't be focusing on this, and I hope she's not either, and I hope nobody really is, because the massive 99% of men, especially, were super supportive and super happy for Mackie and happy for this. And that's what we should see. I'm not a big guy that's I look at everybody equally. If it's a woman or a man, I'm looking at their skill set. I'm not looking at if they're a woman or a man. And I mean, I think that's what we're trying to want to get to. And of course, because this is the first woman, I completely understand why this was looked at such a huge step in the right direction for women. I understand where you're coming from. I do. But I do think that at the same time, we should just be looking at people like they're people and getting rid of this gender, race, all this stuff. So, but at the same time, I can respect people being excited about this for sure, because it is exciting, But when it comes to skill set, it's not to me, I'm looking at Mackie and I'm not oh, she's a fantastic female broadcaster. I look at her and be she's a fantastic broadcaster, because she is. She's one of my favorite people to listen to. She really is. So anyway, shout out to Mackie, great job, and I'm sure we're gonna see more women get involved in this. And you know what? Like I said, if you can do the job as good as Mackie, or even like, as good as some of these other guys, because like I said, some of the games I was listening to this weekend, like when the goal scored, goal, like fucking show some fucking passion, guys. Like, goal, done. Like, Del Bianco makes a save. Like Jake Elliott does it so well. But so does Mackie. Mackie had some really, really good calls. And I find like some of these other guys are just like very like, like, we're not going to get anywhere. Go listen to another sport and tell me who you like listening to. You want somebody who's going to help you, hype you up. And Mackie is one of those people. Jake's one of those people. Teddy, I mean, she does come from a family, that is obviously kind of, I'm sure that helps her being born into there and getting to grow up around that for sure. But at the end of the day, you're the one that has put in the hard work, and nothing's been given to Mackie. I don't think anyway, from what I've seen. She's just amazing at her job. It's not like she's bad at her job and they're sticking her in there and she's doing a horrible job. She was one of the better announcers on Saturday night. Like if you compare them all, she was one of the better ones, in my opinion. Anyway, that's just my opinion. She did have Mr. Pat Gregoire there to kind of obviously do his thing, and he's so good at his job as well. But she was the star of the show there, and I think the spotlight was somewhat on her, and she performed so well. And I can tell you, when you have a lot of pressure, it's not easy to do that. So shout out to Mackie. I had to talk about that one first because that was just right on my mind. And I didn't even have it in the episode. That's why I wanted to put it in there, because I was like, I cannot not talk about Mackie Jenner this episode. She did such an amazing job. And I really do hope to have her on the podcast eventually. Maybe in the off season or something when she's not as busy. So first official topic tonight is going to be the Elijah Gash hit on Edwards. Now, I've talked to a few different people on this. I don't think anybody's really called it dirty. I know I kind of mentioned like, oh, is it dirty, blah, blah. But I don't think anybody really calls it dirty. I think everyone can agree it's like a clean hit. It's just how the hit, it's a dangerous hit is what a lot of people are saying. Now, who's at fault here? That's my question, right? So I personally think, I don't think it's Gash. Like I watched the whole play. I watched it a bunch of times. Gash made like shoulder, he didn't go for a head hit. It was a clean hit in my opinion. If he were on the ground by Edwards, he was reaching up. Should he have reached up that far to get the ball? Maybe not. You're in the center. Game's moving fast though, right? And then is it the passer? Is that who should be blamed for this? For giving a bad pass? Like, I don't think this would be even an issue if the pass wasn't high, because if the pass wasn't high, he would have been way up like this and had like been in a vulnerable position, right? Now, Gash, what's he supposed to do? Just not hit him and let him run by him? So I understand how Gash, I think that's why I don't put any blame on this on Gash, because at the end of the day, don't put yourself in that position. To be honest, for me, it's Edwards. And I know that's probably an unpopular opinion based on what I've seen, but this is my thought process. That pass was thrown. Now, I'm sure he didn't mean to put it up that high, right? So I'm not going to blame it on him. At the end of the day, was it a great pass to start off? I don't know. Probably not. He should have probably really been paying attention as well to Gash a little bit, but it's a fast game and he made the pass. It was off target a little bit high. As Edwards went up to reach for it. That's where I think the mistake was made, to be honest. If I had to pick somebody, that's the mistake that I think I would pick out and be like, you shouldn't have lifted, you shouldn't have reached for it when you're at center like that. What do you think's going to happen? Kind of deal. Again, game's super fast. You're playing super fast. It's not I don't want to say it's a rough hit. It's a massive hit. Like Gash can hit hard. He hits like a fucking train. So that's another thing. Luckily, it seems like everything's good. It was just kind of some bumps and bruises. Edwards is tough in his own sense. So it's not like he killed Connor Fields or something coming across the middle, right? Or like Will Malcolm, right? So it's not like he killed somebody like that. But that was a massive hit. And that could be, a big hit that causes an injury. But I have to put that on the player, the receiver of the ball. That's what's on. Or even you could argue that it's just like kind of a bad situation where you just put everything in a blender and you just say, the Gash hit, it was a hard hit. He was reaching and the ball probably should have been thrown there. That could be thrown in a blender. And it's not that one person really made a massive mistake. It's more that three people together, it turned into a shit show, a shit blender, or a shit shake. It's shit shake. But I don't know. To me, if I had to put any blame on anybody, it's going to be Edwards. That's just my opinion on it. I see a lot of people putting blame on Gash. See a lot of people putting blame on the passer. I personally don't think the pass was as big of a deal, only because I think that he meant it to be accurate. And if it was accurate, I don't think we would have got it. Because if it was accurate, he would have caught it down here instead of up here. He would have been able to brace for the hit, right? And he would have still got clocked, but it wouldn't have looked like that. So that's my thing. I think, like I said, I can't put any blame on Gash in this. And it's all got to be towards, like I said, it's either a shitty situation, or if I had to put blame on one player specifically, I'd probably give it to Edwards for reaching. But again, it's just reaction. I'm not really putting blame on anybody. It's kind of it's just a big hit. But like people are like, this should be, and that you have people comparing it to the Hartley hit. Hartley hit was different. And here's my thought process on that, because I even made a video on this and I understand how it can kind of look a little bit, hypocritical. I'm going to tell you that right now. I said that in my video. But the thing is, to me, is that Hartley is a goalie. No one's expecting a goalie to be like almost at half, essentially. No one's really thinking that someone's going to be there. So it's a surprise more when you come down, boom. Because when you're a player, you're looking back, you're looking behind you, especially in that situation. He's looking behind, like he's looking in front of him. Nobody's there. He turns, grabs the ball, boom, turns, and Hartley's right there. Now, I always said, at first I called 3 games suspension for that. That's what I thought it should have been. After I seen that second angle from the other side, I will say Hartley did really hold up. So I think he kind of like originally went for it and then kind of was like, oh, this is going to be bad, and held back. And then as Vancouver turned, they just ended up running into him, right? So with that being said, I think that the Hartley hit, that's why I think that the Hartley hit should be a suspension. Where this, I think it's just a big hit in the sense that this was in the middle of the middle of the middle of the box, and you got to have your head up. You got to be prepared. You can't just run up through the middle like that and not expect to get decked. So to me, again, I think this is on Edwards more than anybody. But either way, it's just a bad play. Luckily, everyone's okay. It was a massive hit. Went pretty was at least in the lacrosse community, it was going all over the place. And there's some debate to be said about this, but I find this is a lot more salty Rochester people, or people that were agreeing with Rochester and trying to, again, justify the Hartley hit. And I just don't think we got to stop justifying that hit. It's a bad hit. You're never going to justify that to me. I don't like that hit. I think it's dangerous for a goalie to come out like that. It's just not a great hit. That's my opinion. And I know there's a difference of opinions. That's what the great thing is, guys. You can have your difference of opinions in this, and we can argue about them all day, but that's my argument towards it. So there you go. So what do you guys let me know what you think is who's in the wrong here? Because I can't really get a straight answer out of anybody. You guys let me know. It's gonna be interesting to hear all the podcasts this week talk about it. I always do mine first before I listen to anybody else's, because I want to make sure that my stuff, everything I say, comes off my ideas first. And then if I have to retract something, or go look at somebody and I've listened to a few different people talk about it, and then they've kind of they made some really good points and I've gone towards that way, I've changed my mind. I'll address it on my next podcast. But yeah, I think that this is wild. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it, and you guys let me know what you think. So before we go into topic 2, I do want to mention I did not put out a second podcast last week. It's my college one. I'm going to do it one this week for 2 weeks essentially, and then next week I won't be doing one again. And then because I'm going to be in Ontario, I was supposed to go to Toronto Rock game versus Buffalo. Unfortunately, we're going to the Leafs game that night, and I thought that Toronto played on the Friday and Leafs were on Saturday. I was wrong; they play at the same time. So I already got the tickets for the Leafs, so I'm going to the Leafs. Unfortunately, my son's never been to a Leaf game, and we got it for Christmas, so it was already booked, guys. So I apologize for that. I'm not gonna be able to come to that Toronto Rock game like I thought I was gonna be able to. But when they come to Halifax and they play Halifax, I will definitely be going to that one. So I will be coming to a Toronto Rock game. I'm gonna watch them play. I just, unfortunately, my son, I asked him, do you want to go to the Rock game or do you want to go to the Leaf game? And he straight up was like, can we do both? And I was like, unfortunately, no, they're on the same time. They're an hour apart. And he said, okay, the Leaf game then. So I'm leaving it up to him. It's his delayed Christmas gift that that was what I got him for Christmas as a big gift this year, was to take him to a Leaf game. And so I can't turn that down. So unfortunately, I won't be able to. So as of next week, I'll record my podcast on Sunday for this. I'll record another podcast on Thursday for my college this week. So you'll be getting a second podcast this week. Then I'll be doing my next week's box cross podcast. And then I won't do another one until my following week's box cross podcast. And then I'll do the following week, double week again for college again. So I've been watching some college. It's definitely harder to get the games on. I'm finding they're not as on. And to be honest with you, I watch so many sports. It's hard to watch everything with the Olympics being on as well. Go Canada, go, by the way. But it's hard to watch college lacrosse right now. I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely something that I'm interested in and I like watching. But if it's like Team Canada playing, or even like hockey, or even like a high level hockey game or box lacrosse, I'm not going to choose college lacrosse over it. I do enjoy watching college lacrosse. I'll usually turn it on Saturday afternoon if I'm on, but I've also got all my own personal life stuff going on. So to try to watch everything is almost impossible. So I've been definitely been keeping up on college lacrosse. Syracuse is killing it, just to give a little shout out. And we'll talk about that more Thursday. But it's interesting, and I am becoming a fan of the college lacrosse. But it's funny, I have like different tiers of what I'll watch. Box lacrosse is like top tier. I would have to put it in the S tier. Where like college lacrosse, it's probably at a solid B tier right now, like B minus, I would say. But Syracuse is really pulling me in. I'll tell you that. I'm probably gonna end up being a Syracuse fan. Not gonna lie. So anyway, so there's a little tangent. Again, I apologize for not doing another podcast last week. That's my plan. So I apologize. And I'm trying to bring you guys content as much as I can, but I am human. And if you've done content consistently like I have, you do kind of start to feel a little burnout with it a little bit. 2 podcasts a week. There's no one else doing 2 podcasts a week. And there's a reason for that. And that's because Michael Carvelis is actually kind of the only one that does a daily show. And he's doing I don't know how long it is. It's an hour, a little bit over an hour. I think usually an hour and a half. So he's doing that daily. So that's showed it to him. But with that being said, it's hard to consistently put out content while you're still trying to get life going and stuff like that. Anyway, thank you for being patient with me, and I will continue to bring content to you and as much as I can, guys. I love you guys. I love you guys listening to me. I really do. I really enjoy being able to just throw my thoughts out here and actually getting feedback. Because when you first start doing content, I know I'm going way off tangent here, but when you first do start doing content, you don't get a lot of feedback, or you don't get a lot of comments. People like your stuff or whatever, but you're not getting feedback. So now the bigger I get, the more videos I post, the more comments I'm getting and the more feedback I'm getting. So I can actually bring you guys more of what you like. So without all being said, let's get right into topic 2. Okay. So topic 2 is a little bit more fun. We're going to talk about a dating show idea that I have. Now, this all stemmed in my head from the Oshawa Firewolves. So I want to give them a shout out before I rip them apart later, because it's coming. And if you've seen any of my videos this week, you know it's coming. And I'm still heated about that. Oshawa. I don't know, man. Like, I have players that follow me from that team and everything. I don't give a fuck. Okay. I don't care. Listen to me. Okay. I'm sure no players listen to this anyway, at this point anyway. But I can tell you, I don't give a fuck if you're a player, a coach, a GM, anything. I'm going to call it as I see it. I will never change. I'll never change based on who follows me, what relationships I have. I'm going to keep it separate. I can still like you and think you're a great person and absolutely rip you apart professionally when it comes to this stuff. And Oshawa is going to get it in a little bit here. But to start off, let's start off with a positive note, because, I'm Mr. Negative, I find a lot of the times. I try to be Mr. Positive, but it comes out as Mr. Negative, because it's easier to see the things that are going wrong than it is to see if things are good. And I do try to keep myself centered and try to come back. And the league does do a lot of good things. The teams do a lot of good things. So this is one thing Oshawa is doing really good. So one thing that I've said is that we need to get more outside lacrosse people in. So what did Oshawa do? Well, they did something very smart that I haven't seen a lot of their teams do, and I think it's something that it would be a great thing to do. So we got Amara so this Oshawa to share this last week. So Amara from season 2 of Dating Nick UK answers dating questions with the Firewolves. Don't miss the Firewolves singles, mixer, and game at the TCC this Valentine's Day. So, they're promoting something. They're trying to get people in, different people. I love that for Oshawa. I think that's amazing. They did such a great job. And this brought me to my thought. Why do we not do a dating show, a reality show with these NLLers, right? So in the off season, right? Partner with Bravo, partner with somebody like one of these things. Heat a Rivalry, one of these reality TV shows. Or fuck it, you know what? I might end up putting this together if I get enough traction on it where it's like, well, this would be a good idea. Maybe I'll try to do something with it. But what I think would be a good idea, this would get a lot of the female audience drawn into this, okay? So what you do is you go on and you basically make a dating show. It doesn't really matter. You could pick a couple. You could do a Bachelor style where you get one NLLer and there's a bunch of girls trying to get their attention. I think it'd be better to bring some characters in and do more of like like if you've seen like the new Canada Shore even, or which is not really a dating show, but even if you did like a Love is Blind or even just like where you get paired with somebody and you can mix up your partners, like even like a challenge style, something like that. There's so many different routes you could go. You could do a dating show where like you do challenges and then you get prize money at the end, stuff like that. There's so many different ways you can go. But if the league could help put this on or put this together, get some of the younger guys that are single and go on and post on on your socials and get some girls to sign up. And these girls are going to watch the show, bro. And guess what? Once they're watching the show, what do you think they're going to get? Listen, I do this all the time, okay? I like reality TV. It's one of it's my quote unquote, like my, what do they call it? What is it called? Like my guilty pleasure, I guess as you call it. I don't really give a fuck. I like what I like. So I like reality shows to a point. I don't like them all, but I like a few of them. But what'll happen is my wife will start watching one and then I'm sitting here doing my other shit. And then I end up fucking asking questions because I'm like, I'll see something happen and I'm like, oh shit, that guy almost got punched out. Oh shit. And then I start asking questions about it. And then all of a sudden, now I'm a fan of the show. And I'll shout out fucking Summer House for that one. And Vanderpump. And like, there's so many. But anyway, again, here we go getting off topic. That's me, okay? I'm a sports guy. I'm a diehard sports guy, okay? That is me. I never really liked reality TV show before I got with my wife. I've been with my wife for years and years now. We're coming up 15 years together. With all that being said, I guarantee you there's other guys like me out there. I don't care. If you don't want to admit it, that's fine. I get it. It's cool. And if you don't have a girlfriend or a wife, you're probably not going to be watching reality TV. But these girls love reality TV. So if you have a girl that loves reality TV and a boyfriend who loves sports but doesn't like lacrosse, all of a sudden he starts getting hooked on these people. Now you start showing clips of their lacrosse stats, of their fucking highlights, all this different stuff. Do some lacrosse challenges on there. Get some sponsors. The views are going to be there, boys. The views. Think outside the box, okay? Heat of Rivalry is a perfect example of this. The NHL leaned away from this at first, and then they leaned fucking right into it because you had people realize that it was good publicity, and you had people going, like, these girls going to hockey games that they've never been to before. These guys, their boyfriends taking the hockey games, happy that their girlfriend's finding interest in hockey. Let's do the same thing with lacrosse, guys. You don't need to reinvent the wheel here. You just need to try something a little bit different and that another league's already tried. Now, the dating show, I don't think anybody's ever tried this, but I think it would be an amazing thing to do. And they might end up finding a partner. What a story that would be. So you're going to get all these fans of the show, loving lacrosse, something, I don't know, and make it I don't know. I'm not a show producer, okay? Now, maybe, like I said, if nobody else wants to take this on and I can figure out how to do this might be something I might try to do because I think it'd be fucking hilarious and awesome. And it would bring a whole new audience. and get exposure to lacrosse, and it's something different. And you could do it on their off season. Not all these guys are playing summer ball. Not all these guys, all this different stuff. They play every week. Yes, they have jobs, obviously. How do you do this? Blah, blah. You offer a cash prize money. You offer it and you sell sponsorships. You go try to get this partnered with one of these shows. Like Bravo always comes to mind for me because they'll take anything. So just fucking go see if you can sell it. And there's nobody doing this. All you need is one producer to believe in you, get you on the air, and it's going to blow up. And even if you don't, make it on NLL Plus and fucking let's get it out there. I don't know. Just my thoughts, guys. Just kind of a crazy idea that I came up with that kind of popped into my head like a lot of things do. You guys let me know what you think, but I think it'd be kind of something different and something that's going to bring fans into this sport. I know. People probably fucking laugh at me at my ideas. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to throw stuff at the wall until it sticks. If one of my ideas, if I throw out 1,000 ideas and something sticks and the league grabs onto it and takes it, I'll be happy. Okay. I don't even fucking care if I get credit for it. Take it, have it. I don't care. Just fucking do it. Let's grow this sport. Get these guys paid. All this, the players should be on board with this because the more exposure, more money in your guys' pocket. You guys are the pioneers. You got to do all the work for the future generations, but this is all going to pay off the end. So that's my take on it. You guys let me know what you think. I think it could be fucking an absolute banger, but that's just my opinion. Okay, so let's run through the weekend scores real quick. All right, so we had Colorado Mammoth beating the Las Vegas Desert Dogs 13-12. It shows Las Vegas is a lot better than people are giving them credit for, coming that close to Colorado, which you could argue that they're the best team in the league right now. You got Toronto versus Colorado. Colorado winning 16-8 over Toronto. Huge win for Colorado there, really showing that they are the cream of the crop, realistically. And to play back-to-back nights like that and perform on a Saturday against the Rock, who've been actually really, really strong lately, that's a really impressive win. And that just shows that they are kind of on that next level of teams. Or they're in that next tier anyway. Then you got Philadelphia versus Calgary. The battle for the battle for what I thought would be the basement. But no, Oshawa seemed to fucking somehow slide below them. So on the standings, so you got Philadelphia losing to Calgary 10-9. This was a tight game, and Calgary pulled it off. They needed that win. I thought Calgary was going to get this one. I did go 6 for 8 this week, so I did pretty good. Then you got Vancouver versus Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan squeaking out a win 9-8 in overtime. This is going to be a hell of a final if this is what the final looks like. Which there's a very good chance that you can see Vancouver Saskatchewan in the final, and that could be a final preview. If not, I hope it's at least a playoff preview because that would be an amazing series to watch this year. Then you got San Diego versus Oshawa. San Diego, I hate to be a hater, man, but and I'm gonna go through this after, but San Diego's been winning games. Don't get me wrong. Are they as good as their record shows? I don't know, but I said if they beat Oshawa, I'm gonna tell if they're the real deal. So they're the real deal as of right now. Honestly, they did it. They went out and beat Oshawa, and they came out really strong. We're gonna get into this game more in specific later. Then you got Ottawa versus Rochester. Ottawa beating Rochester 10-9. That was a huge win for them. You got Buffalo beating Halifax 11-10. Dane Smith showing why he is the face of, some people call him the face of the league, the face of Buffalo, and coming in clutch and scoring that 11th goal. And that's what a real leader does. He goes and gets it done when it needs to get done. And that's what makes Dane such a special player. Then finally got Georgia versus Calgary, the Calgary second game. Georgia beating Calgary 11-6. It's unbelievable what the defense, the back end in Georgia's doing right now. Brett Dobson, I'm telling you, I know it's really early to call, but if he can continue playing like this, you're going to see him go down as one of the best goalies of all time. He's just doing things that he's really found his way this year, and he's just killing it. So shout out to him. And Georgia. Georgia is one of the best teams in the league, and you could even argue they might be the best team in the league as well. Lyle is back as well, and that's another thing I want to touch on too, when we'll get into it more, but Georgia's back end with Lyle on the front end and Nolan Byrne, that's team, honestly, Georgia's really me on to become a fan. They really are. They're probably right near the top of me becoming a fan, to be honest with you. I'm almost at the point where I think I'm ready to become a fan of a franchise, but the problem is I'm scared if I become a fan of one of these teams that, the players that I like are just going to leave anyway. And then that's where I'm kind of should I just stay neutral? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm ride or die when I come to a team, as you guys know, with the Leafs, I'm once I pick a team, it's that's my team. So it's not like I jump around. So we're gonna get right into the Alyssa Wahl interview. Now, Alyssa, what a nice person. First off, I always say this. So it blows my mind when they tell me about their schedules that you're gonna see in a minute here, and how busy they were, and they just oh yeah, I got it done. It's no big deal. It's holy cow, man, you're a superwoman. It's wild. So we got Alyssa Wahl on. We talk about her playing career. We talk about coaching. We talk about Port Coquitlam. And we're talking about her building the game in the community, all that kind of stuff. We talk about what it's like to officiate. We also talk at such a high level. We talk about the travel, the grind, and the growth. There's so much covered in this interview, honestly. And you're going to get a better understanding of how there's so many different options you can get involved with in this sport, and that you need to. And you're going to hear that. So here's my conversation with Alyssa Wahl. Let's get right into it. So today I have Alyssa Wahl on. She is played at the University of New Haven's women lacrosse roster. She is also from British Columbia, went to Riverside Secondary and played Georgia Court and is studying an MBA.
Yeah.
She also had a huge NCAA Division II season in 2023, playing 19 games, 60 goals, 47 assists for 107 points. Absolutely massive. 2023 All-Star CACC second team for the attack position, and is listed as the head referee in Port Coquitlam Minor Lacrosse Association. Absolutely huge resume. And then she's also signed to St. Leo for Team BC. Is that correct as well in 2018? So
Yeah, yeah, I signed for St. Leo in 2018, so that was the first university that I went to. Not the biggest linear college experience going to 3 schools, but, with the uncertainty during COVID, and it really made things nervous and uncertain with the world going on as I was there 2019, 2020, I decided to change it up and go somewhere else, a bit easier to get to from Canada, going over to New Jersey instead and a bit closer to home. So from there, I was at Georgian Court for the rest of my undergrad.
now, did you find is that something you did more because it was like in that COVID time, or is that something that is just kind of you think you would have done anyway?
Yeah, I really did like Florida when I got there. I mean, you can't complain. You're in the nice weather, very competitive conference down there, but it really was COVID. It changed a lot of things and it was just crazy times. Traveling was really hard and getting all the way to Tampa was a few flights. So that was difficult as well. So it just ended up being honestly though the best decision I ever made. You think you have it very good everywhere you go and then when you experience other places it gets better. It was really cool to end up going to New Jersey and being right near New York City as well.
So, I mean, women's lacrosse is growing everywhere, obviously, but in the States, it seems to just be on a whole other level. Do you find that from going down there?
Yeah, I think field lacrosse wise, definitely a whole nother level. Especially playing in the NCAA, it is treated like professional league, nothing like we have for college sports in Canada. Box lacrosse wise, though, very unknown, especially unless you're in the Long Island hotspot in New York. Very different, not as well known, especially for females in the States. But I think that's being a female, what sets you aside to get recruited is that box experience you get up in Canada.
Yeah, I find Canadian players, especially women's, are just on a whole nother level coming out of here. Do you find there's a lot of women that they recruit out of Canada down to the States?
Yeah, for sure. And we always say there's certain schools that love Canadians as well as you would see looking up stats. There's usually when there's a Canadian at a school, there's more than one, whether it's women's or men's, usually both combined. I mean, at my school in New Jersey, even I had another Canadian on my team, and then there was 5 on the men's team as well. I think once schools touch Canadians, they tend to continue to as they realize we bring a different gritty style of play in female that they don't see before.
Now, just tell me how you kind of got started in lacrosse. Like, what's the first time you can remember picking up a stick and kind of what made you choose lacrosse over other sports you could have chosen?
For sure. So for me, I mean, my family's super involved in lacrosse. So I grew up watching my older brother play, and my dad was coaching many teams, and seeing also how involved my father was in the sport and seeing how fun it looked like my brother was having out there. Once I got into grade 3, I decided to give it a shot. I mean, women's was still so small at that time. It was just really starting to grow. So we actually did have a full female team my first year. From there, I fell in love with the sport. Eventually, in high school, quit soccer for lacrosse, went all out, made my first Team BC team in grade 9. And we won a natty championship in box in my midget year. So I did both years in box and 4 years of Team BC field. But growing up, I was really lucky. We had a dynasty of my age group in Poco. So we would win provincials almost every year. Most of us were on Team BC. So I think for my career, what really took off is always playing with the best and most competitive players.
Now, do you find in that area there's a lot of scouts coming out to watch games, or is this something that you're more having to send the footage into scouts and schools and stuff like that?
Yeah, so you don't really see scouts out in Canada. I mean, the one tournament we would have is BC's Best, and that originally was just men's and eventually evolved to women's field as well. So we did that one year, and I think there's about 6 universities there. But other than that, it's what really was you have to make Team BC and go down to those tournaments in the States for recruitment or really get those highlight films made and send them out and try your best to talk to coaches.
And how much have you found that the women's side of the game has grown since you started?
Yeah, it's taken off. I mean, I'd see it every year when I'd come home for break from university. There's way more women. I've helped out with Fusion a few times, and even the skill these girls have at the young age is crazy. I feel like when I was growing up, it was still a bit unknown what playing in college was like, the commitment, the having both hands skill wise, lefty and righty. And now you see these girls have it. I think Fusion has been a big help as now it's not just Team BC, there's Fusion, there's so many things. There's different training facilities you can go to here now. So it's really starting to take off, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's trying to get more exposure to the women's. Like I know I'm in the East Coast, I'm in Moncton, New Brunswick. And that's kind of their I went to the AGM and that's their number one thing is trying to grow the girls game. And I know they're adding a few teams in that high school rank. So I know it's growing down here. Do you find it's the same thing? Like what are the numbers like between when you started compared to now?
Yeah, I mean, when I started, there was no high school women's lacrosse really. We started up a team because as I said, it was our dynasty group. So we had a team and then of course the island had a team at Claremont and one at Royal Bay, but competition wise was never anything insane. Field wise, women's field was tiny. I think there was only maybe 4 or 5 teams and it was never competitive. And now you see they have it from when you're 6 or 7 years old all the way up to U18. So it's really awesome to see. Registration numbers too, even knowing in Poco, it's crazy that there's now tiered teams in box and you have the female teams all the way from U11 and up.
That's amazing. And like, what do you give us a like your favorite memory of being on Team BC there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one our last year because we would do a Palm Springs tournament and then the Sandstorm one, and then one in Florida every year. And the Palm Spring one was one of our last ones. So I remember we all were just hanging out really close, waking up at 5 a.m. to go see the sunrise and soaking it all in, playing pranks on our coaches. And it was just such a family environment. But competitive wise, I think the best experience was that natty championship we won, especially because in Bantam we got cut short. We were in the finals and we got a too many men call in overtime and gave Ontario a penalty shot and they won it off of that. So that stung. And then going into our midget Team BC natty champ run where we went undefeated and won gold was pretty awesome.
So no, that's amazing. I mean, to win any championship, it just shows how dedicated the team is. And do you find I know you said the girls are doing things that kind of that you guys weren't even doing at that point, but do you find your team was just they were dedicated and they were willing to try new things to try to, give themselves an up on the opponent?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially with the kind of training you go through in the Team BC program where you are practicing crazy hours every weekend, it's a big commitment. You have to make it interesting to have fun with it. So you're always trying new tricks. If you can do a backhand at that age, that was super cool back then, a Twizzler. Now it's just seemed to be the normal thing, but we would always try and get creative. I mean, I was more of a defensive player growing up, so not much creativity I could get with defense besides the basics and what you got to do to stop a player. But those attackers would always try and pull something new on you.
Now, is that something? Did you become more of an attacker when you went to the States, or is that something that you kind of just already had started to develop?
Yeah, so no, I was always seen as a defender growing up. If anyone heard my name, it was defense. That was my thing. And then when I started to get recruited in high school, talking to St. Leo, they said, "Hey, I want you for attack." I think they saw me play maybe 5 minutes of attack at a tournament, and I guess I looked good. Don't think I even scored, but they saw something in me, and clearly they were right because the attacker I grew into was pretty awesome. But it was quite hard doing a big position switch.
Now, kind of walk me through the college experience. Now, you went to three different places, so kind of just give me a rundown on how that all went and how that transpired and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I always say it is the best experience you can ever get. It teaches you not only being a university student, but you get values to take into your career one day. And the discipline you learn, also just getting to meet so many people. Some people think it's crazy going to three schools. I think it's awesome. I never planned on three. I thought I was done after New Jersey, but after that season I had, I got a call from a school in New Haven that I couldn't turn down, which was the best opportunity I ever got as well. But every school is different. And I think a lot of people don't think about that when they're looking for schools. It's the location, it's the people on the team, and it's also the coach. I didn't just have 3 head coaches in college, I had 4. When I got to New Jersey, that head coach left after my first season. So I've experienced it all. I've experienced the tough ones, the nice ones, and the ones that are the perfect mix. And you have to take every moment in. I think you get lost in those training where fall is 6 days a week of conditioning lifts, long practices, long hours. You don't really see the light at the end of the tunnel, especially when you're starting out. But you start to understand the commitment as the years go on, and it eventually does pay off. Freshman year is always hard. You're away from home. Sophomore year, you don't want to go back home. Your teammates become your family, regardless of being on men's or women's. Those 30, 40 people you're with become your best friends. You live with them, you spend every second with them, you go through the crappy days with them and the good days. Like, I still remember those days where it's pouring rain and hailing and -10 outside, but you're all out there struggling together. And you look back, and those are the days you miss. Those are the awesome times that you took for granted and hated in the moment. Even outside of that, when it gets to season, is those game days. There's nothing like the feeling of a game day. Getting ready for game day, whether you're on the bus, getting pumped up, or you're at a home game and you have your whole routine and getting on that field, you have your goal songs when you score, everybody's cheering for each other. It's just an environment you wouldn't get anywhere else going to the States for lacrosse.
And what do you find the biggest jump? Was there a big jump in skill level going from like Canada to the States? Or did you find that you brought your own style and kind of was able to use that to your advantage?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a jump, but a jump more in you don't really know or understand the dedication it's going to take to do it. I think a lot of people think, oh, this is awesome. I can go to the States, get a scholarship, play lacrosse. And then when they get there, they get shocked. Of you got to work out every day, you're running every day. There's a lot of pressure on you. The skill, everybody there is just as skilled as you, if not better. And especially being a freshman, it's hard to understand that. I remember telling freshmen when I was a senior, hey, I've been in your shoes. It's your grinding time. And one day you'll end up like me in my senior year and have a killer season. But you got to understand that you're making that transition from playing with high schoolers to college. And some Americans go to really intense high schools where they have that training, they have those programs, so they're ready. But I think coming from Canada, at least when I was growing up, those programs weren't fully established yet. So, yes, you do train a lot at home, but nowhere to the extent in college. And it's just really getting used to that and understanding that it's no one man show anymore. Everybody is competing for that spot and just as good as you are.
Absolutely, and shout out New Haven. They have some really good pizza there. I stopped there on my way to Florida last year because Dave
Yeah, I miss
Portnoy.
that pizza.
Yeah, Dave Portnoy actually said they have the best pizza. So I was gonna go to New York, but I was like, oh, New Haven it is. So we stopped there, and I can't remember it was like a little brick oven pizza downtown. I can't remember. I think it
There's a
was the
few.
oldest place in that
Yeah,
area, but it was
yeah.
awesome. It was great experience, and cute little spot actually. New Haven is.
Yeah, and I never expected it to be like that. I just thought Connecticut, it's another state. It's not really a big tourist destination. I've been to Florida, I've been to New Jersey, which is near New York, but it was honestly, I think, my favorite school I went to. The pizza one, awesome. The city's really cool. You're right beside Yale as well, which is a beautiful campus. And that team is pretty insane skill level wise and probably that has the best program, facilities, and coach I've ever had. They're, I mean, now Division 1 this year is their first year making that D1 bid. So it will be really exciting to see. But they were ready for that jump. Their facilities are insane. I've never been in a performance center like that. The supportive training you get, it's a whole new level.
Now, kind of walk me through what your schedule looked like in school because, like, I mean, you're going through for an MBA, which is a decently hard program, and then you've also trying to play at this highest level of women's lacrosse. Essentially, like, give me a rundown of what the schedule looks like over the week during school.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy that last year, also because the MBA is a 2-year program, and I knew I got 1 year of eligibility left for lacrosse, so 1 year of scholarship. I gotta get it done. So you're taking double the classes education-wise. I remember the career counselor called me when I committed there and said, "It's impossible. There's no way you're gonna get this MBA done in a year. No one's ever done it." But I did. It was hard though because you are training Monday through Friday. You got 2-hour practice, and 3 days a week you got an hour lift. The other day is conditioning. Saturday, you also have practice. And then whether it's community events, volunteering, whatnot outside, also as a lacrosse commitment. And then you still have your classes. And being a master's student, there you're also on a separate campus. And I don't have a car. So then I'm also trying to balance taking a 30-minute school shuttle to the master's campus, late night classes that it is a master's. So you're in class till 9 p.m., then shuttling it all the way home, sleeping and doing it again. So it was a crazy year, but it was also pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that's insane. Like I know the schedule for these, like especially in the States, like their schedules are really insane. And I know I'm a massage therapist. That's what I do with my day job. And a lot of my clients now, what their kids are doing is now 4-year programs, or they're turning into 5 because it's just too much for these kids now. So it's amazing what you did. So give me something that you kind of took from it and learned from that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been the person where someone tells me no, I'm gonna prove them wrong. So I think when I got that phone call, I remember my coach was freaking out too because she didn't really know me yet. I hadn't met her in person. And I said, listen, I'll get it done. And I did. And I think it taught me resilience, it grew me stronger where when I started my career, I didn't have any fears because I knew I could get it done. I did the impossible that they thought there. So I knew I was gonna be fine continuing on. I mean, I think the hard part was continuing to be able to give it my 100% in sports because I had such a heavy academic schedule, but you learn balance, you learn the commitment, and you still somehow make time to hang out with your teammates outside of that as well.
Yeah, that's insane. But so how much I always ask people that are high level players because I think people think that these high level players just have the natural talent and they just do it. But like what percentage of the time did you actually want to get on there and practice compared to just pure determination getting out there and doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say in my freshman year, you get to the point where you don't understand it yet. So there's some days where you're like, man, this sucks. But once you get used to that routine, it's every day you want to be out there because you're used to it. It's your routine. You go, why am I not on the field today? I want to be out there. Practice is awesome. Practice starts feeling as fun as games, especially when you're getting in your last few years and you know it's almost over. I would do anything to do one more college practice, which is crazy. I'd be laughing at myself 8 years ago hearing this. But yeah, I think it's your own motivation. You really have to love the sport. And I think also playing in college, you learn to love it 10 times more.
So let's walk through that 2023 season because I mean, you had 107 points, 60 goals with 47 assists. So, like, kind of walk me through that. Is that something that you're just going out there and feeling it every game? Or is that something that, do you credit that obviously to your teammates, but is it kind of just you guys finally kind of found that flow and what works?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I was going out there and feeling it every game. I remember my first game of that season. I was shocked too with myself. I remember calling my dad after because there was a blizzard, so that one wasn't live streamed, and I was like, "You're not gonna believe this, but this is how many points I got." And then it continued game after game. It was a pretty awesome season. I think after that season's also what inspired me to try going to a competitive ranked D2 school for my 5th year and taking it because once you feel that high that you feel having a season like that, you never want it to end. But after that season, I also was selected for the all-star game for the seniors in the IWCLA, which was pretty awesome. So after that game is when I said, I'm not finishing, I'm going back. But that whole season, I have to give it also to my teammates and my coaches. Is That's truly where I developed was in New Jersey, and they had the right program and right fit for me to grow me into that kind of player. From going from being a defender my whole life to pulling off a season like that was pretty unreal and definitely unexpected of myself. And yeah, it was awesome.
I'm sure after that, your old teams were probably thinking we should have had her on offense the whole time. Here we go. What did you find? Do you find like it was it the like the practice regiment that did it? Was it the watching the game tape? Is there something you could pinpoint to say, hey, this is what really pushed me over the next level?
Honestly, I think it was growing confidence and not second thinking on the field anymore, just doing. And I think that's something that you do develop throughout your years in college is it's no more I'm scared to do something. It's you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go do it. And it works out because then you're not timid out there. I think a lot of film helps too. I mean, I was obsessed with every college game when I was in college. I was the one texting my coach saying, hey, did you see this score? This happened. I was watching every game every day. So I'm sure that was a huge part of it as well. I eat, sleep, and breathe lacrosse throughout those 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love lacrosse. I'm a newer fan. I started watching last year, but I've completely fallen in love. But like, do you find like, are you a box person? Are you a field? Because you've obviously played it. Which one do you prefer?
Growing up, more box. I actually did quit field even for a year in middle school because I was a aggressive player. I was a defender. I liked to hit, and then female field, there's no gear, there's no hitting. I was bored out there. But once I got to university and learned attack, I really did become more of a field lover because the amount of creativity you can do out there with the space and being able to run through people more is definitely my style and something that I found better than box.
Now, what are your thoughts on sixes?
So I haven't actually played sixes, but I have refed it. A few years back, I refed the BC sixes tournament, and I found it interesting. But I think there needs to be rule tweaks. I think it's too easy to score. You have it's box with a huge net. One good player can run through people and just rip it and it goes in, especially in men's. And I think they need to make some different rules, maybe change the net size. I don't know, but it has potential. It just hasn't been figured out yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat as you are. Like, I would like to see a stoppage or at least a pause after a goal because I find for commercialization of this game, of this style, you need to be able to show replays and then just the couple of tournaments I have watched, it's definitely got some potential, but I do agree with you. It needs to be tweaked. Sorry, so let's talk about your ALCACC second team, like all star. I know
Mhm.
you mentioned it a little bit before, but what was that experience like in just playing with those high caliber, or getting to play with those high caliber players as well?
Yeah, playing in the All-Star game was really cool. I mean, it was nerve-wracking to be selected and knowing I'm gonna be playing with all the best seniors in D2 in that game, but it was honestly an awesome experience. You go down the day before, they have a dinner for you, you hang out with all these other girls as well. It is actually supposed to be done when you're graduating and not when you're going back for a 5th year. I did get my eligibility back because I hadn't decided that I was taking it yet, but it did get a little complicated. But the game itself is super fun. I mean, it's not taken as seriously as you'd expect it to. Everyone's having fun out there, but being able to play with all of those high caliber players was super cool. And it's crazy how fast you can mesh with some of these players in just one game.
And do you find playing with new players, especially going to three different schools there, do you find it's pretty easy to mesh with new players, or does it just depend on the group?
It really depends on the group and the skill level. I mean, making that jump to New Haven was big as They're in, well, the most competitive D2 conference and a super competitive school. I mean, we made the NCAA tournament that year as well. And just getting to know the different styles of play is the big thing. There's certain players you can mesh with right away if they think and play like you, but there's also some players who have such a different, unique game where it takes a lot of time to get to be able to work with them. And I also think being Canadian, sometimes it takes a bit longer to mesh with them as we do play different. I mean, they've told me I even shoot like a box player, apparently. I run like one, so I guess there is more differences than we realize.
Yeah, do you like that you say you shoot like a box player too? I find boxes so tight in field. I always say like it looks like you can really use your athleticism to kind of stay away
Mhm.
from the everybody else and just shoot. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you find the same thing or?
Yeah, I mean, especially in women's with the limited contact, it is so easy if you get the space and have that power in your shot, you can take a shot from far out and get it in, and nobody can touch you. And that was the big thing that kicked my career off in that 2023 season, is most of my goals came from having a crazy hard shot that I worked on and having that ability to just rip it from anywhere and it being unexpected. And I think a lot of Americans struggle because we can shoot with people on us as we do in box, and they have to learn that more in college.
Now, I know there's quite a few different rules with women's lacrosse. And like the one thing that comes to mind is I was watching the one tournament for sixes and like the differences there, even the difference of equipment. Now, I'd like to see that all meshed up, but what are your thoughts on that? Do you think we should have a separate set? Because I know there are women out there that do think they say it's basically a different style of lacrosse. So just kind of, I want to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to play it like box, full gear, full contact, but that's my personality. I think field for women's does have its uniqueness. It does really separate it from the men's game, which is awesome, but I think there could be another level of contact that could be introduced to it if we wore gear, and I think it would make the sport more exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I have to agree with you there too. I'm a big contact person myself though, so I'm a little biased. And I think it's a Canadian way, honestly, to be honest with you. So, okay, so let's talk about coaching for a minute. Like, have you got to do a lot of coaching yet, or is that something you're still looking into?
Yeah, so I did coach back when I was in high school with my dad, who was my mentor. I did U11 female for 1 year, which was great. And then coming back from university, every break, I would help out with camps or clinics. I'd go to the high schools and elementary schools with Poco Minor, with the Cornwall sometimes, really involved in the community. And now I've been coaching a U11 female team in Poco. Actually coaching with a girl who grew up coaching my age group when I was growing up, so it's awesome full circle moment, and now learning from her and working with her as well is awesome, and hoping to stick with this age group and see them through all the way through junior.
I was talking to Levi Tui actually, and he was saying that's what you guys like to do out there is you kind of pick a group when they're young and try to follow them, and I really like that actually. Now, I'm going to be coaching for the first time U13. My son's playing this year for his second year. Give me some advice. Like, what should I be trying to focus on with U13? Is it just basics, or is it like kind of because there's a different level obviously, and there's some kids we're running plays with even last year. Is that something I should be focusing on, or just basically basics?
I mean, I think it depends on the skill level of the players too. Like last year, I was doing a U11 female B team, so a lot of them are brand new. So at that point of skill level, the focus really is the basics of getting them to pass and catch, learning what a pick is, no moving picks. But once they get that skill level, like even by the end of the season, we were able to pull off a play, which was crazy exciting for these little girls. And it's just feeling it out and seeing where their skill level is at. I mean, this year is going to be interesting because with the new crease dives rules, crease dives will be happening from U11 and up, which is insane. So that's a big thing. I'm not saying to teach, but a lot of kids are going to be trying, and I'm a little nervous to see it happen. But yeah, the rules are changing, so I think coaching style is going to have to change this year as well.
So with the crease dives, it's funny you say that. So the crease dives is I'm a little bit skeptical of them too for the younger kids.
Mhm.
Once you get to that junior level, maybe or whatever. But for the younger kids, it's trying to teach them what like to keep their body out, and also for us specifically, we're playing in a hockey rink, so those kids are landing on concrete. It's not like they're landing on turf. So, what do you like them, or do you think that that's something that should be kept out?
I'm concerned, especially being a ref. I can see all the crazy things that could happen in, let's say, a U17B game. All my brother and I both are refs, so we were joking about it. And we're like, all we can imagine is some player plowing through the goalie saying he's crease diving and then a bench brawl breaking out. So that's always a concern. But I think you should have it. It helps that jump to junior. But I think U11, U13, yes, the kids could probably pull it off, but they watch the NLL, they see them do it. So I'm worried their whole focus is going to be on crease diving now rather than the true game of lacrosse. And a U11 kid falling on concrete is not going to be a happy experience after it happens, as they're probably going to be hurt.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, honestly. We'll see how it goes. I could just see some goalies making contact in there and stuff like that as well. And like you said, some bench clearing stuff. So we'll see. Well, hopefully that'll
Mhm.
be okay. But definitely, it was a little bit surprising when I heard that come out. I seen Dawson Nielsen put it out, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. All right. So do you find you prefer coaching or refing?
I mean, I definitely prefer coaching. I like mentoring refs now too, but I am looking to take a step back from refing. I mean, I've been doing it for 13 years, so it's my time to just really focus on my head ref role and give back to the younger refs now. I've seen it all, done it all, been yelled at, been told I'm good, told I suck. It's how it goes being a ref, but it was awesome being involved in that way. And you get to watch literally every lacrosse game that you're refing, so that's awesome. And you're getting a workout in. But I really am growing more into the coaching role now and focusing on that. And then also just volunteering in the community outside of coaching and refing. I'm crazy involved with the Poco Junior team running their social media. I've been timekeeping, scorekeeping, shot clocking their games for the last 10 years. So I stay super involved in any way possible.
Now, do you? So when you say you're going to keep your head ref status or whatever, do you find is that just now you're going to be just overseeing everything, and then or do you go into big games when there's a championship or anything, or is that something that you're just going to be overseeing more?
Yeah, so the plan will be if it's a game where I know it could be problematic, I don't want to put one of my refs in that situation, or if it's a championship game and we don't have another skilled ref available, I'll definitely still step up and be there. I'm still going to get my recertification this year, but my goal is really to grow our referees in POCO and try and support them the best I can because we are always losing refs everywhere like crazy. So I think it's really needed to have someone where, like what I want to do, where you fully focus on developing them, supporting them, and making sure they stick around.
So how much toxicity do you see first off? And do you find it's more do you get it more as a female? And do you find it's more from the fans, the players, or the coaches?
Yeah, it really depends on the game. I mean, because I've wrapped up to junior B1 in BC. So, I mean, it's grown where you get a bit more respect, but you still have those ones that don't want a female ref. I remember even walking out to my first junior B1 game I refed, and I could hear the players say, "Oh, I've never had a female ref before." It's like, well, that sucks for you. But yeah, I mean, you do get some comments here or there. There's always the disrespectful coach that may make a comment, but it's not common about being a female anymore. I think we've started to move past that. But you do hear it from coaches quite often, especially in high level, intense games. There's always a mad coach. Tournaments bring out the worst in everyone. It's probably the one tournament I will ref this year is our U13 one in Poco. Something about U13 in tournaments is always a nightmare. We always have some good stories from that one, but fans can give it to you too. My brother and I had some good experiences last season from some fans yelling at us, but I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to laugh it off and you're out there so they can play and they should appreciate that. But I also get it being a coach is sometimes you get into the game and you're super intense and then it just comes out of your mouth, even if you're wrong or don't mean it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely lines you shouldn't cross, no matter how bad it gets or whatever. But I do understand like some things do probably get said in the heat of the moment. I know actually Elliot Frickman there, Ryan McMichael, he was saying how he was like yelling at a ref last week in a game, and he claims the ref cost him the game, right? So he was yelling at the ref, but he said he was like he wasn't swearing at the ref. So what do you take that as coaches? Is that something that like what is the best approach for a coach to kind of try to get the ref's attention during a game?
Yeah, I mean, I actually talked to a coach about this during this field season because I actually repped men's field this year since we had no refs, never done that before. And I think it's just understanding. And it's hard in the heat of a moment to understand. One, most of these refs are kids and they're out there to make money and to make your games happen. The only reason why I was still refing is because we had a gap of ability and skill of high level refs in Poco. So I stayed to make sure we had refs. And I think coaches just have to put it in their brains that they're kids, they're trying their best. You make mistakes as coaches, but you don't get yelled at like a ref gets yelled at when they make a mistake. And it's going to happen. I'm going to make a mistake. You might make the wrong call. What do you want me to do? Call it back? That's not allowed to happen. You have to just take a breath, take a moment, say, yeah, that sucks. Maybe that ref screwed up, but can you change the outcome? No. No matter how much you yell, it's not going to change the situation. It might only make you have a penalty or get kicked out at the end of the day.
So in situation where you do make kind of a bad call and you realize out on the floor and stuff after, is that something you're kind of looking for to make a makeup call on the other side? So you might call a penalty a little bit lighter that, you know, could still be a penalty, but other times you might let go.
I mean, the right answer is no, because we're not supposed to do that. I can't say I've intentionally fully done that. Do think sometimes as a ref, yes, you might think, even if my partner is a new ref and I'm training them and they made a call in a game that might be not the strongest call to make that I wouldn't have called, but then it happens on the other team. then I'm gonna make that same call to keep it consistent, because if you don't, that coach is gonna lose it on you as well. But I try and stop myself from making those payback calls unless it is a weak call and I realize after, then I'll make the same even call back, but it's just staying consistent. You can have a game where you let it go on both sides and you let them play to that intensity, and then you have those games where you gotta call it tight to keep it safe and clean, and you just have to make sure you do it on both ends.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fair call. I know what you mean. I would probably do it personally if I was a ref, but I'm not a ref, so I get it. I see it though all the time in like sports, right? Even in the NLL,
Mhm.
the NHL, and it happens. Okay, so is how do you go about like what do you guys do to recruit referees? Is that something that you're going over to players that are like kind of older players and asking them to try out refing, or is that somebody that a lot of times is it people coming to you and just kind of kids need jobs obviously, so it's a good way to make money doing something that you love.
Yeah, I mean, for box, never a problem. We actually are going to run into a problem where you have too many young refs signing up, which is awesome. The more main focus of box is keeping these refs past once they hit high school because they can start refing at 13. Everyone wants to make cash at 13, so they all sign up. They get fired up. It's awesome. But once they hit those 16, 17, 18, up to 20 is when you see the drops. Unless it's a college student, they want that fast cash. They'll keep it going, or they just love the game so much and want to stay involved, like my brother and I were. Field, super hard to find refs because it's in the pouring rain, it's cold. That's why I never wanted to do it until I had to this year. But we really tried to recruit. We tried to put some incentives out there of, hey, if you come ref, we'll give you a bonus at the end of the year if you're committed to it and you do a minimum of X amount of games, and then hoping that they like field and stick with it because I really don't want to go back to standing in the rain next year again. But being head ref, you have to step up in those moments and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it's part of the job, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so would you ever is an aspiration to become? I know you kind of said you're taking a step back a little bit, but would you ever consider going to ref in the NLL, or is that something that you want to work towards at all?
Yeah, I used to joke about that a few years back because it was so unheard of for a female to even ref junior, I feel like. And then I think it was this season that was the first ever female NLL ref, which is insane and awesome to see. I think that's really aspiring, especially for my younger female refs I have in Poco, that they can take it that far. I think I'm just at a point now for myself where I'm ready to focus on my career, and take a step back from reffing and just take a break. Maybe in a few years I'll be interested again, but I think I've had enough for it finally and I'm ready for some fresh air.
Yeah, fair enough. When you've been doing it so long, I mean, it does wear on you for sure. And I will say, like, I'm very impressed with the NLL. I do find that there's like they have a lot of women broadcasters out there. They have a lot of women or they're starting to get more women in. At least since I've been watching, and I've noticed this season a lot. There's been a lot more of them. So maybe not in the past so much, but I got to give the NLL credit for that because they do a great job. So do you watch any NLL?
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get to a Warriors game this year. I've been so busy, but last year I went to quite a few. I love watching the NLL, watch every junior A game too, and BCJLL and the Minto and all the playoffs, even in Ontario. I love lacrosse. I watch it all the time. Big Warriors fan, of course, hoping they'll make a playoff push again this year.
Yeah, they're looking pretty strong, and actually, they just had a game this year that they put in over 10,000 fans, and they've come close
Yep.
another couple times. So they're actually, it's absolutely amazing down there that they're doing that. What do you find the experiences like there, like being in that arena and just when it's packed?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a reunion. You run into the entire lacrosse community. I mean, especially in Poco, it's so tight knit in a family. Every step you take in that arena, it's another hello, but I love it. And the atmosphere is crazy. I did go to the playoff games last year, and that was so fun. I mean, it was a Sunday night, but everyone was still going crazy. So many fans. It's crazy to see that, yeah, they even had to open up the upper bowl for a game this year, which is awesome. And I mean, especially with the Canucks not doing good, I think lacrosse has become bigger and bigger for the NLL in Vancouver, and I'm hoping that eventually we have that upper bowl full every single game like the Canucks.
Well, it's funny because Buffalo, I've kind of been looking at how did Buffalo get to where they were, and I think a lot of it is to do with the Sabres and the Bills were so bad for so long,
Mhm.
and so everybody rallied around it. So hopefully we can do the same thing in
Yeah.
Vancouver and I know you guys had a team there before and stuff in Langley, but it seems like now that it's in downtown Vancouver, it's a lot better and it just seems to be more recognized.
Yeah, it definitely I think moving into that Rogers Arena made it seem more legit, and seem like it is like the NHL where you play in the biggest arena. You have the same ownership now, so they put so much money into it and time, and I really think there's so much more potential for the NLL and especially Vancouver to continue with the fan base. I mean, even just when they started at Rogers, it was still small, and every year you're seeing more and more fans come out.
Yeah, absolutely. I've even seen on social media people going that aren't like really lacrosse
Mhm.
fans per se, but they're just kind of going because it's what's going on in Vancouver at the time, and they're just getting down there and enjoying it. So now, did you happen to see like the Ryan Hartley hit and like all the aftermath and the fight before the game?
Yes, I was actually supposed to go to that game, and then something came up, and my younger brother was there texting me, "There's a fight in warm-ups." I was so mad I missed it, but yes, I saw all the videos. It was crazy.
So I've never seen that in sports. And I know a lot of people have commented on my stuff saying like, these 90s that used to always happen, Six Nations games that happens, I guess, occasionally. But have you ever seen something like that in your time in lacrosse, like a pre-game fight, whether that be at, the junior A level, the pro level, or even like a minor level?
I mean, not in warm-ups like that. I've seen fights in the stands like the Man Cup this summer and everything like that, but a pregame warm-up is crazy. Refs aren't even out there. Coaches just watching. That was insane to see. It was pretty awesome.
I understand why they suspended everybody like for a game, like Subak and stuff, but I mean, there's people on there saying he's not a good role model. I think that what he did actually calmed the game down personally. I think that that kind of squashed it and it was over. Is there anybody that you really, is there a favorite player on Vancouver that you have, or who do you think is the best forward they have, or the offense?
I'm gonna say Cornwall just because I have a close connection with him. He was even my I've known him since high school before he even coached in Poco, so I always root for him. Never will stop unless he leaves Poco. Just kidding, but yeah, I gotta say he's always a fan favorite for Poco.
And like, do you think Vancouver is going to go all the way this year?
I think they can do it. I mean, I'm biased because I really want them to, because it'd be awesome to go watch those games again and see them actually go all the way this year to the finals would be super cool. So I think they have the ability.
Absolutely. All the additions they made. Kurt Malosky's just made an amazing, he's done an amazing job with that team. And, everyone's calling them the favorites at the beginning of the season, and they seem to be just getting better and better every week. So it's been awesome to watch there.
For
Okay.
sure.
So just one more quick question. I always like to kind of ask people this random stuff before they get off. If there was one quote you could put on every locker room, what would it be?
That's a hard one. I mean, I would be so basic and say when it gets hard, it gets better. I mean, something that I say to when I go talk to universities, because that's our high schools, is that's a part of my job, is I say, enjoy the times you fail because it grows you. When you make a mistake or something bad happens, it's actually an exciting time because that means you're going to get 10 times better for that and you're going to learn something you never knew before, which is going to benefit you in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Alyssa, for being on. I really appreciate you. Tell your dad I said thank you for making the connection. That was awesome. I'm just some fan on here, just trying to get exposure to this sport because it is so great. And I've had, three of the Poco guys on here now, plus you. So I'm definitely a Poco fan, even though I'm an East
I know
Coast
you
guy.
got the Poco train.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I definitely, with all the, kind of them going to a bunch of their players going to the Minto multiple times and not being able to close it out. I really hope they can get it done this year because they're a veteran team.
Me too. I'm
Yeah,
hoping it's going to be a good
absolutely.
year.
So thanks for being on again, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much.
So I want to thank Alyssa Wahl again for being on. An amazing, amazing person in general, but just just an amazing lacrosse mind in itself. And you hear her at the end, she's kind of going to take a step back from lacrosse a little bit, but I mean, it's in her blood. I don't think she's going to be gone too long. That's just my own take from it. But in my opinion, she will not be. It won't take her long before she jumps back into some sort of. I think she is going to be doing some coaching no matter what. But I think once you're kind of involved in this sport or even in development of kids, it's so cool to watch kids go from like young, especially how they do it in Poco. Everybody should be doing the same thing that they do in Poco that they do everywhere. And I'm gonna actually be addressing this in my own association when I next time I'm at the meeting or whatever, when I talk to the president. This is something that I think every association should be doing is that you get a group of coaches, you put them with the U9, U11s, whatever, even U9s, and you start them there, and every year those same people coach that same team. You might be able to mix things in a little bit, but if you follow those kids, it's going to be great for the coaches. It's also going to be great for the kids as well, for development and stuff like that, as long as you have the right coaches. But I think it's a really cool way to watch players grow up, and you get to watch them become these amazing lacrosse players and hopefully help them develop into just generally good people. So thank you, Alyssa, for being on. I love supporting all lacrosse people for sure. And I've been lucky enough to have some really, really high IQ lacrosse people that I can pick their brain about lacrosse. So I really appreciate when anybody, I would say this, but I really do appreciate when anybody gives their time because I'm just a fan online and, I'm covering this. I think some people refer to me as media. I don't know. Am I media? You guys let me know what you think. I don't know if I'm considered media yet. I guess I don't look at myself on that level yet, but maybe I should start. I don't know. I just think I'm some guy on the line that likes talking shit about lacrosse and trying to grow the sport and help the boys get paid. Help everyone get paid, right? Help everyone get paid. That's really what this is about getting exposure to the sport and just turning this into an actual legitimate full-time gig where these players aren't playing anywhere else. That's my dream for this sport. And I think we're going to be heading in the right direction. All right. So right now, you know what time it is, boys? Let's go. It's time for the weekend recap deep dive. So as always, shout out to Mr. Graham Perro for putting out this NL stats site. I love it. It makes my job as a content creator a million times easier because his site is better than the NLL's. I always say this and I always shout this out and I'll shout this from the top of the rooftops. And when I finally meet an executive in the NLL, this is actually one of the first things I'll be mentioning to them is that you need to hire Graham Perro to be on staff in the NLL. Just give him money and get him to come work for you because he could make the NLL site so much better. So much better. So anyway, so we've got February. So we've got Colorado versus Las Vegas to start. It was a Friday night game. You got an attendance number of 4,700, just a little over that. So again, I'd like to see that number raised. They put 6,000 in there almost during Gretzky night. And obviously, they're getting up there 5,000. Like I said, I really like to start seeing them selling that arena out because then you could justify, okay, let's move into the downtown core of Las Vegas. If you can sell out the arena all season in a 6,000 person arena, that would just give you so much more pull to be able to go to downtown. Just my opinion on it. You guys let me know what you think. Colorado coming out tight first, 4 goals to 3 for 4 goals Colorado, 4 goals for Colorado in the first, 1 goal in the second, 4 in the third, 4 in the fourth, and then Las Vegas, 3 in the first, 4 in the second, 1 in the third, and 4 in the fourth. So just coming up a little bit short. Vegas, to be honest with you, what I've noticed out of Vegas, and I noticed they don't really start on time. And I've said this before, and if they just start on time, they would do so much better. Vegas is going to be kind of one of those teams that are a bubble team, and they could squeak in and even make a run for it. They're that good if their goaltending can get it together, and if they could start on time, who was the biggest lead for Las Vegas. And you've got, on the player side of things, you've got Andrew Q getting 6 points, 5 goals, 1 assist. You got Will Malcolm getting 6 assists, huge. 2 goals, 3 assists for Jack Hanna. Dylan McIntosh got 2 goals, 3 assists. You got Owen Ron getting a Hattie with 3 goals. Brandon Saris getting 3 assists. Ari Stevens getting a goal and assist. Thomas Bailey getting 2 assists. Robert Hope getting 2 assists. Matthew Pilato getting assists as well. And as he went 14 for 29 in the faceoff circle, so not great, not horrible. Chris Cloutier with 4 goals, 3 assists, huge. Three loose balls even. He's playing obviously way more of an offensive role now. You got Jonathan Donville with a goal and 6 assists. Huge. Donville's been amazing this year. Jake Elliott said it. I've heard him talk about this, and he's been on a whole nother level this year, Jonathan Donville. Then you got Jackson Webster, got a goal and an assist. You got Ron McDonald, got 2 assists. You got Adam Poltres, got a goal. Kyle Killen got a goal. Tyrell Hammer Jackson was massive in this. He was killing it. Now, he had a rough start in the circle to start, but at the end, that fourth quarter was just he killed it that fourth quarter in the faceoff circle. He went 15 for 29, so definitely want to be better, but still 51%, so still a positive percentage in the faceoff circle, not bad. And you had him putting up a goal. You had Blake putting up an assist, Drew Belgrave putting up an assist as well, and you had Connor Kirst getting 11 loose balls and four caused turnovers. It's just crazy. This team's like both these teams are killer, but Las Vegas, their record, like I said before, their record is not intuitive. Their record is not aligned with how well this team is because it is a good team. And especially when Chase Frazier is healthy. When Chase Frazier is healthy, because he was out this game, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Chase Frazier is going through a rough injury right now, honestly. Another thing, shout out to this. This was a battle of brothers. So Tony Malcolm versus Will. And you could just see Charlie probably just like biting his nails and just sitting there. Like the Malcolm family it must be wild to see two of your like family members playing against each other. How do you even cheer for that? I guess I would just cheer for my favorite one. So you just cheering for both of them. Hopefully both of them having good games, but it was funny to see some brother or some like Malcolm on Malcolm action there because there was a couple little incidences there I seen. So in the goalies here, you got Dylan Ward, decent game, honestly. 55 shots, 43 saves, 12 goals against with a 78 save percentage. With the offense they have, that's pretty good, but yeah. And then you have Landon Kells with 50 shots, 37 saves, with 74 save percentage. Bouquet did come in for about 8 minutes of this game, getting 3 shots, 3 saves for 100%. So again, Las Vegas goalie situation it's just they can't figure it out, right? They seem like they have a real dedicated starting goalie, which is why, in my opinion, I think it's going to be, after all the moves they made in the offseason, to not have brought in a goalie that's ready to go when you're trying to be a team that's ready to win now, I don't think was the best idea, in my opinion. Okay, so you got to go get a goalie. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. Is it Damoud? I don't know if they moved Damoud. He's kind of young still. Is it possibly Matt Vince? That's what I said. I said, well, Matt Vince would be interesting if Buffalo doesn't win. Now, Buffalo just won their game, so they're right in the playoff hunt still. Don't get me wrong. So I don't think Matt Vince probably wouldn't even be available anyway, but it's way less of a chance if you obviously there's 0 chance if Buffalo doesn't, Buffalo makes the playoffs, right? So who's an option for them to go get a goalie because they need one? I think Nick Damoud honestly would be a good one, but I don't think Philly wants to trade Nick Damoud. And then to be honest with you, like I said, I think Whittam's ready to go, but they won't want him. They don't want to move Whittam. I don't blame them. Saskatchewan's not going to help these guys out at all by getting like a cask in there. Do you go after a Halifax goalie possibly? I don't know. Like, is that, Hill is a veteran as veteran goaltender? Is that somebody you maybe look at Halifax? They're probably going to be looking at getting younger. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know what the answer is here. But I can tell you right now, if you want a serious shot at the playoff run, you're going to have to bring in a goalie. There's nothing to talk about there. You guys let me know what you think about that one. That's my take on it, as always. Next game, you had Colorado playing again. They played Toronto with an attendance number of 9,363, so huge. That's good. Still not over the 10K mark, which I've seen Colorado get to before, but still not bad, honestly. You had Toronto. We already touched on this at the beginning of the episode, but this was the gash on Edwards hit. I've already kind of given you my explanation of that whole thing, so I'm not going to go into that again. But this was a tight game, or this was definitely Colorado. This is a game that definitely Colorado showed that they are in that top tier by Saskatchewan. There's nothing to talk about, right? Like, it seems like there's tiers, there's levels to this game. Colorado's obviously going to be a lock, and for that home playoff game, which is going to be awesome because they put fans in the building, so I love that. Colorado right now is another one that's snagging me towards them. They're like really pulling, and I like Colorado because they got that young trio, so they're going to be, and they're ready to win now. All that kind of stuff. I do like Colorado. I like a lot about Colorado. I really do. But the worst part about them is they're so far away from me. But you got Toronto putting up 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. And Colorado, you got putting up 5 in the first, 4 in the second, 6 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. And to be honest with you, Toronto to me just looked like they didn't come out ready to play. That was one thing. Not like they should have, in my opinion. And Colorado went too far ahead. You cannot let these teams that are so good get this far ahead of you, especially when they have Ward back there in net. Like, you're not catching up once these teams are up by 4 or 5. It's really, really hard to gain that back, like to be down by 4 or 5, but then also come back and win the game. And Vegas seems to always like to play from behind. I don't know what it is. It's very rare you see them go up and try to take control of the game. They're almost playing off their back foot all the time. So on the players' side of things, you got Mark Matthews, decent game, 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. You got Jalen Rogers with 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. You got Josh Dawick with the 4 assists. You got Chris Bushi with a goal and assist. You got Phil Mazuka with a goal and an assist. You got CJ Kurtz with 2 assists. Owen Hills with a goal. Brad Cree with an assist. Robert Hudson with an assist. And so Gash with 6 loose balls. Gash is a force, man. I mean, you want a guy like that on your team. In the face-off circle, you got a fucking 5 guys taking face-offs. You had Jubenville going 3 for 20, so not good enough. And then I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, to see him released, possibly. Yeah, Toronto needs a face-off guy. That's number 1. On the other side of things, you got Andrew Q getting 10 points with 4 goals, 6 assists. Huge Andrew Q for 10 points. That's massive. You got Braden Saris with 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points. You got Will Malcolm with 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. You got Jack Hanna with a goal and 5 assists for 6 points. You got Dylan McIntosh with 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. You got Thomas Vela with a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. You got Matthew Pilato went 23 for 28 in the faceoff circle, 82% huge, 2 goals on him. And he got fucking 14 loose balls, but obviously a lot of those are off the face-off. You got Owen Ron getting a goal and assist in this game. Robert Hope with an assist. Tim Edwards with an assist. Robert Hope also had 13 loose balls. Huge. And then the goalies for you guys. So you got, you got Steve Orelman playing half the game and Troy Howachuk playing half the game, which both of them really didn't have great games at all. You had 37 shots, 23 saves for 71% save percentage for Howachuk, and you had Steven Orelman getting 29 shots, 22 saves, and a 75.9 save percentage. So again, not great. This team needs Nick Rose. I know there's so many haters on Nick Rose, but Nick Rose's numbers are consistently good. Out of him. Does he let some softies in? Yes. Does that mean that he's not your starting goalie? Absolutely not. Howachuk had a good game last week, but this game it wasn't good. And this is what you're going to get with Howachuk, is the up and down. Rose, you get consistency. And they could have possibly won this game if no Rosie was in net there, to be honest with you. And they started on time. Another thing, they need to start on time. Okay, so on the other side, Dylan Ward having a massive game this game. The first game was meh, it was okay. So you had Dylan Ward, 44 shots. Do you think Ward's going to go right away? If you're trying to win a championship, why not use Whittam as leverage to try to go pull somebody? Because your defense is getting older here. You know, you've got the trio that's pretty young, and you got your definitely 2 young stars up front. But this is the time to win a championship for Colorado. And I think that, I'm not saying it's the right move, but how much longer is Ward's going to play? Because is this going to be Ward's last year? Is he going to play for another 5 years? Like, and then you're just going to let Whittam rot instead of just like trading him for assets and getting something back? I don't know. And I'm like, you know, when I look at a team like Las Vegas, for example, and I look at it like, if they had Whittam right now, they would have 2 or 3 more wins. I really do believe that. So that's my opinion. I've been a high on Whittam for a while. I'm very vocal on that. And he's a goalie that's going to be a very bright future with, I think he's only 21. So he's got a very bright future in front of him, but it would be nice to let him, obviously, I get it to let him play, but I get it if you're Colorado, because like, why would you let your your next future goaltender just leave when you he's a stud, right? So, and the experience to play under a goalie like Ward is just phenomenal. Like I don't think there's not too many players that get to do that, right? So next we had Philadelphia versus Calgary. Calgary's first game of the week, and you had Calgary beating Philly 10-9. Their attendance was 97-71. Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen, and they put almost 10,000 in the building. Absolutely amazing. Shout out to Calgary. Calgary's a fantastic organization. They've got quite the fan base there, and those guys love their sports out there. I do know that, but I'm telling you right now, that's strong, man. 10,000, almost 10,000 fans on a Valentine's Day Saturday is huge. So Philadelphia came out strong here. 4 goals in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and you got Calgary with 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, squeaking out the win. You got some players over here with your Kyle Jackson getting 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points, 5 loose balls as well. Huge. Brendan O'Neill, 2 goals and assists. Phil Caputo, 2 goals and assists. Michael Sowers with 3 assists. Joey Rez with a goal and assist. Eric Fennell with 2 assists. Patrick Foley with a goal. Sam LeClaire with an assist. Liam Patton with an assist. Alec Pace with an assist. You had Bo Columbus going 9 for 23, 39% in the faceoff circle. Then you had Riley Lowen on the other side getting 3 assists for 6 points. Huge night for him. Tanner Cook with 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. 4 loose balls as well. Shout out to that. You had Tyler Pace getting a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Aiden Dixon getting a goal and 2 assists. Masuka getting 2 assists. Brayden Maya getting a goal. Noah Manning getting a goal. Kyle Pepper getting assists, as well as Liam LeClaire. And you had Eli Salama got 7 loose balls, which is massive. And you had Justin Ossio going 14 for 23 with 60% in the dot. So that is massive as well. Honestly, Calgary-Philly game, I was calling this game the battle for the basement, and Oshawa somehow fell below them. So, I don't know, guys. At the end of the day, I think everybody can agree that Philly and Calgary aren't making the playoffs this year. So what do you do with them, right? Calgary, the worst part is you're sitting here. Calgary might as well just keep winning, because they're going to give Toronto their first overall or their first round pick. And so there's no point in trying to tank for Calgary. You might as well just go out there and fight your hardest every night. But Philly, like, I'd be starting to look at moving assets, right? Moving assets, getting draft picks back. The next 2 drafts are going to be crazy. They're kind of Team America. Honestly, that's what I would. If I was Philly, I would be leaning into that in your marketing and all that stuff. Make yourself Team America. I'm telling you right now, it's a great marketing play, and you guys have a lot of big stars, and that way you can also entice American-born players to play there. And I know, it is good to spread everything around. Don't get me wrong. Joey Spallina is coming up, and he actually makes the most sense to become a Philadelphia Wing or whatever team they're going to become, if that does happen. But Team America there, man, I'm not a fan, I'm Canadian, but they have some really good players in there. And I think if you sell it like that, I think that you could, there's so many good marketing abilities with that. So that's my 2 cents on that game. The game was back and forth. Both teams both teams play hard, man. They're both grindy teams, blue collar teams, and Calgary just squeaked it out. So Nick DeMood getting 45 shots, 35 saves for a 77.8 save percentage. And you had Aiden Walsh going 44 shots, 35 saves with a 79.5 save percentage. Both these goalies have they're decent goalies. Aiden Walsh has flashes. Nick DeMood has flashes of being great. You could argue that if they were on a better team also, they would probably, their numbers would be elevated. But to me, I would have liked to see one of those goalies really stand out and shine a little bit more. That was definitely the better of the games between Aiden and from Aiden, those two games on Saturday and Sunday there, Calgary's second game. But I will say that, I don't know. I think that if the goaltending was a little bit better on both those teams, either team could have stole it. They both made some key saves. Aiden made a little bit better, and he was really the difference maker in that game. I think that, again, both these teams are kind of just out there to play and try to develop their young guys, I think, at this point. And start moving pieces that you can that'll help other teams, and try to get some picks back. And the next 2 drafts, like I said, are going to be absolutely electrifying. You've got Vancouver Warriors. So next game we got Vancouver Warriors versus Saskatchewan Rush. I said this was a game of the week. It was either this or Buffalo Halifax, but I would say this, and this lived up to it. Now, this was actually kind of what I thought was going to happen, was it was going to be a low scoring game, but when you have this much offensive power, you always think it's going to be a crazy scoring game. So it's one of those games that could have went either way. But like I said, this to me is probably a finals preview. Right now, if I had to kind of pick 2 teams, I'd have to say these are right up there, right? I would say it's a combination of these 2 with Colorado in there. I would say Georgia, if they can continue playing like they have as well. I think those are the 4 teams that are arguably really in the contender debate right now, and that are kind of on a different level than the rest of these teams. So starting off strong, this was a great game, back and forth, exactly what you want to see in a lacrosse game. Saskatchewan, in my opinion, came out swinging. Vancouver started off slow, which again, Saskatchewan started off a little bit slower here, but came back, woke up pretty quick, and there were some big names here. Zach Mans comes to mind right before I even go through this, of having an absolute massive game. He put up 3 goals, just huge, and massive goals for them as well. So this was an overtime game. So this is another thing. This could have went either way. Could have easily been a Vancouver win, just as much as it was a Saskatchewan win. Like, this isn't saying that Saskatchewan is this much better than Vancouver. This actually shows that this is way better. This is actually amazing because if this goes to the playoffs, this shows that any team can beat any team. And like, it's not just going to be like, oh, Buffalo's going to win the playoff, like the championship this year. Don't get me wrong. Buffalo still has to be considered a dark horse for this. But as of right now, in my opinion, these are the two favorites to go to the championship. Maybe Colorado as well, honestly. Like I said, I think it's going to be a combination of those three right now. Georgia being there as well. Georgia keeps climbing a little bit higher on that list to make it into them. And if they can go get a big win against a big team, especially one of these three teams, that'll put them right in the conversation as well. So it's going to be an interesting season to the end. And yeah, it's awesome. We've got 7,319 or 7,000. We've got 7,319 people in attendance. So Saskatchewan, shout out to them because this has been one of those years that they've had some games with like 4,000, under 5,000 fans getting in there with weather, with Christmas, and all this different stuff. So to see them get back up to this over 7,000, because that's where I think right now I always say this, like I think everybody needs to be trying to hit that 7,000 mark if their arena allows it first off. But trying to hit 7,000 mark is the first step. But I want to see 10K in all these buildings. That we need to have buildings that hold 10K at least, obviously. But like I want to see 10K is the base number. We have a couple teams already hitting it, multiple or very close. We have about 4 teams in the league that can hit 10K week in, week out, or very close to it, like I said. So I want to see Saskatchewan being as good as they are, being that there's no professional sports team there. Would like to see, other than CFL, I would like to see I would like to bring in more fans, but 7,300, much better. And whatever you did, keep it up. It could have been the game as well, because obviously the game's just so hyped. Like I said, it probably was a final. And to see an overtime game in lacrosse, I don't know if there's anything better in sports than that, to be honest with you, with intensity and stuff like that, because these guys are out there fighting for their life, especially two teams like this, right? Because every win matters. Every win matters, boys. So you had Vancouver getting 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 0 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. And you had Saskatchewan getting 1 in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. So the fourth was very tight defensive game. This was a very defensive game, honestly. And it was just a battle of inches, and Saskatchewan did get the better of them. Shout out Zach Mans for tying that game up. With less than 2 minutes left in the game, Zach Mans goes out and puts a beast one in. That's what I mean. He got 3, and it's when he scored that was the most important thing to me, in my opinion. Huge game for both teams, but Zach Mans, it's Saskatchewan. And then Robert Church closing it out. Like, and I gotta say something about Robert Church here, because at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh, Saskatchewan doesn't have any superstars. They just have a bunch of guys who are really good. And I don't mean that as disrespect. I've explained that on multiple levels, multiple times. If I get hate, go watch one of my old videos, because I'm not saying that they don't have any really good players. I just didn't think they had a guy like on the level of like a Jeff T, a Dane Smith, a Will Malcolm, an Alex Simmons, something like that, because they have so many different weapons. Robert Church is still that guy, guys. Like, I'm not going to lie. When you need a guy, when you need a big goal, Derek Keenan, Robert Church are the guys you're looking at. They're veteran leaders. And I can tell you, the more I watch Saskatchewan, the more I respect Robert Church. I'll tell you that. And I will say, at this point, he's still a superstar. There's nothing to talk about. I was wrong. Robert Church is definitely a superstar. That's my take on that. So anyway, starting off strong, we had Adam Charlambides getting 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points. 4 loose balls, huge. Keegan Ball, 2 goals, 1 assist Keegan Ball, 2 goals, 1 assist. So a light night for him compared to other nights. 2 goals, 1 assist for Jesse King. Clorich got a goal and 2 assists. Christian Del Bianco got 2 assists. Curtis Dixon got an assist. Owen Grant got an assist. Matt Beers got an assist. Steph Charbonneau got an assist. 3 different guys take faceoffs. Mainly, though, you have Max Adler getting 4 for 19 in the draw. They probably got to go get somebody else for the draw, I'm thinking, to be honest with you. I know I'm like, oh, but your faceoffs don't really mean much, and they don't, to be honest with you, when you look at this big scheme of things. In a game like this, they do. I'll tell you that. They do. That can be the difference between winning and losing. You have, on the other side, you have Zach Mans getting 3 goals, 3 assists. Levi Anderson getting 2 goals, 3 assists. Ryan Keenan getting 5 assists, huge. Robert Church getting 2 goals, 2 assists. Massive goal in overtime. You got Brock Haley getting a goal and assist, been a lot better as of recent. Matt Achoni getting a goal. Austin Shanks getting an assist. Mike Messenger getting assists. Adam J getting assists. So you kind of want more out of like Austin Shanks, in my opinion, a little bit that you've seen, and even Mike Messenger maybe. You have Nasso going 81% in the draw for 17 for 21, massive. Matt Hosak got 9 loose balls, huge, and a caused turnover as well. Just massive, guys, massive. On the goalie sides of things, you got Christian Del Bianco with 40 shots, 31 saves, and he only let in 8, like just under 9 goals. You know, he let in 9 goals, 1 overtime though, and he had a 77.5 save percentage. So honestly, normal nights, that's fine. That should be good enough to win on most normal nights. And this is definitely an offensive issue this weekend. But Saskatchewan is probably the best, if not one of the best defenses in the leagues. Can't hold them that well, but you know, one guy that I'm going to pick on Vancouver specifically is Jesse King, or not Jesse King, sorry, is Curtis Dixon. We need to see a little bit more out of Curtis Dixon, obviously, than that. 1 assist is just not enough for somebody named Superman. But don't get me wrong, he had a massive game last week, so it is what it is. It's a team sport, and everyone's got to do their part. But just to call out one person specifically, but overall, in general, you got to put up more than this. But this was amazing. You got to respect the other side as well, right? So then you have Frankie on the side, 40 shots, 32 saves for an 80 save percentage. And Frankie, man, he's determined this year to win. It's gonna be heartbreaking if Saskatchewan doesn't win the championship this year after what they did last year and how they, the record and just the way what they did. They're coming with the same team. This is a scary team, and I'm not gonna be surprised to see them in the finals and to win the championship. To be honest with you, so they have a really good shot at it, and they have a good shot to win the championship for sure. Especially with wins against like Vancouver and Rochester and like these big teams. It's like those are the games that you really want to win, right? So this Vancouver game, you guarantee Vancouver wanted to win, but so does Saskatchewan. And Saskatchewan at home, and the way they're looking right now, they're gonna have home advantage all of the playoffs, and that's gonna be scary because they haven't lost at home yet, and I don't think they're going to. I don't think they lose one game at home this year in the regular season at least. I'm gonna give a little bit of a warning here before we get into this. I'm gonna get mad at this team. I'm frustrated with them, and I'm not even an Oshawa fan. And I think what's happened is, to be honest with you, I think I was starting to become an Oshawa fan. I had higher hopes for them. I have a special place in my heart. I love underdogs. I love what they did last season, right up to the end when they just missed. San Diego beat them. I also like how their Alex Simmons is an amazing player. I like how I like the Dougie Jameson. I like even Oshawa in general where they are. Their closest teams downtown Toronto. You could even put, to be honest with you, that should have been Toronto Rock. They should be the Toronto Rock realistically, because they're closest there. So, but Oshawa to me should be better than this, and that's what I'm pissed off about. So I'm gonna rip everybody apart. I'm gonna rip management apart. I'm gonna rip the team apart, and I'm gonna rip the fans apart. I got issues with every single fucking one of you. So we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, so let's get right into it. So San Diego, 13-7. Now let's talk about San Diego for a minute before I get into Oshawa. San Diego, I don't know. Are they the real deal? And I said, oh, if they beat Oshawa this year, this week, I'm gonna say they're the real deal. So I am gonna stick to what I said. They beat Oshawa 13-7. They looked fantastic. Origieri is fucking phenomenal. The way since he's been back, the team's done so much better. Okay, so are they the real deal? I don't know. I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna go through a schedule with you to show you why I don't think they are. But I'm not. I'm trying not to be a hater on this team because at the end of the day, they've proven me wrong time in and time out. So first off, Oshawa, 5,400 fans. I don't even blame them. Like, you guys gotta fucking show up if you want people to play, okay? Or if you want people to show up, you need to fucking show up as well on the fucking field or on the playing surface. It's a joke. Anyway, so San Diego, this is what pissed me off. This is what pissed me off. This is what pissed me off about Oshawa right here. So we got San Diego putting a 6 up in the first, 3 in the second, 1 in the third, and 3 in the fourth. Listen to this joke. You got Oshawa putting up 1 in the first, okay? 1 in the first, 0 in the second, 3 in the third, 3 in the fourth. Like, what? What? Like, if you would have put at least 3 up across each quarter, I would have been like, okay, I can understand that. At least. Like, their longest drought was almost 30 minutes. Almost half the game without a fucking goal. Are you kidding me? Like, their longest streak was only 3 goals in a row. Obviously, they had no lead in this game. Not playing like that. It's a joke. They scored, just to put you guys, So San Diego scored their first goal at 3:57, then one at 4:46, then one at 6:11. And Oshawa finally scored at 6:13 by Clark with a pass by Ty Kurtz. And then you had Ben McIntosh, Zach Hurier, and Ben McIntosh for San Diego again. So, like, the list goes on and on. Then you had San Diego 3 goals in the second. Then finally, Oshawa woke up and decided, hey, we're going to play some lacrosse. Came out in the second half, got 3 goals in a row. And then San Diego, right? You had them scoring. Fourth quarter starts. You had San Diego scoring again, and then you had Oshawa finally getting Alex Simmons finally getting one in the fourth. Not good enough, Alex. Like, you got to be fucking on the board before the fourth quarter. Ty Kurtz getting on the board as well. San Diego scoring again. Then Dyson finally, like, I think he got one. Yeah, he got one earlier. Dyson actually got a hat trick this game when he's doing his part this game, and then the other boys aren't this game. Like, I don't fucking know, boys. And then finally San Diego closing it out right with the power play. And to look at the stats quick before I go off. We got Wesley Berg with 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points. Huge one with Wesley Berg. 8 loose balls, absolutely massive. You got Ben McIntosh with 5 goals, 1 assist, 6 points. Then you got Trey Leclerc with a goal and 5 assists. You got Dyson, you got Dylan Watson with 3 goals, 1 assist. Zach Hurier with 2 goals, 2 assists. Connor Robinson with 3 assists. Corey Smalls with 2 assists. Graydon Bradley with an assist. Giulieri with assists as well. And in the face-off circle, as always, Trevor Baptiste's absolutely killing it. 18 for 24 for 75%. Just massive. And then on the other side of things, you got Oshawa. Ty Kurtz with 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. You had Colton Watkinson with 3 assists. You had Dyson William with 2 goals. What? I thought Dyson got 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Dyson. I'm sorry. I was counting Dylan Watson. Dyson Williams only got 2 goals. Sorry. I'm sorry. Alex Simmons got a goal and assist. Tiger Clark got a goal. Mike Byrne got a goal with he went 4 for 19 in the faceoff circle. Not good enough. Walker got an assist. Austin Thie got an assist. Will Johansson got an assist. Jackson Nishimura got an assist. Jackson Fridge got an assist. So did Blake Gibson McDonald got an assist as well. Zach Mason went 2 for 5 against Baptiste, which is honestly super impressive. Anybody winning anything against Baptiste is killer. Origieri got 47 shots on, 40 saves for an 85.1 save percentage. And you got Andrew Kidd over on the other side playing 11 minutes. You got 14 shots, 10 saves for 71.4. And then you have Dougie Jameson with 9 goals against, 48 shots, 39 saves, and he got an 81.3 save percentage. So again, I don't know. Honestly, this is okay. Oh my god. So let's first off, let's start. We're doing a little bit of a deeper dive into this team. I'll tell you that. San Diego. I want to show you something for a minute. Okay, San Diego. Okay, I'm just gonna go through San Diego's teams because San Diego's beat Ottawa. Big win. That's a big win, to be honest with you, to start the season. I'll give them that one. Rochester lost to. No shame in that. Calgary, they lost to. That should have been a win. Let's be real. But that was an upset, right? Then you got Toronto Rock. They lost to that. I'm not, again, Toronto's kind of that dark horse. They're not horrible. They're actually a decent team. Then you've got a win against Vancouver, which is huge. That one's a little bit controversial, but that one's a big win. That's huge. Then you got Philadelphia twice, which to me, I'm just not overly impressed. Them beating Philly doesn't do anything for me. I'm not saying that, the wins are great. Don't get me wrong, but those are two wins that you should get, right? That's the way I look at it. Then they lost to Saskatchewan. Really, no shame in that, to be honest with you. There's absolutely no shame in that. And then they beat Oshawa. Now, to me, if I had to recount this and I was like, okay, which games are they going to win? Like I said, I thought Ottawa was a massive win. Good for them. Vancouver was a massive win, but they should have got Philadelphia twice. No problem. Like there, they should have beat Calgary. I would have thought they beat Calgary. And then originally, like looking back at the beginning of the season, and then Oshawa, Oshawa should beat these guys, in my opinion. But this is where it starts to say, are they the real deal or not? I don't know. Now here's the next game, right? They play Halifax, which Halifax is in the dumps. Halifax is going to have to get that win. But to be honest with you, San Diego continues to prove me wrong. So they'll probably prove me wrong again. But I do think that Halifax probably get that win, but we'll see. San Diego is a good team, right? They have some really key guys on there. Wesley Berg had a really big night. So you got Halifax, then you got Colorado. That's going to probably be a loss. I think we can all agree to that. You got Vancouver, that's going to be a loss. But at the same time, they already beat Vancouver, so they're going to run avenge that. But and they do have you know what? Hey, if they beating Halifax, let's say they go in and beat Halifax, I'm going to be like, okay, impressive, whatever. But if they can take Colorado, then I'll call them the real deal 100%. They will be contenders at that point. They will be the real deal. I will apologize to everything I said about them, everything bad I said about them. I will apologize if they can beat Colorado, especially decisively. Even if they squeak it out, I will still say they're contenders. So you got Colorado, then you got Vancouver, then you got Saskatchewan, then you got Buffalo, who's going to be a hungry Buffalo if they're trying to get a playoff spot. So that's going to be a hard game. Then you got Toronto. Again, Toronto might be in the bubble team. These guys might be on the bubble team at that point. It's going to be a banger. Then you got Georgia. Georgia, you got to tell me that Georgia's not going to beat these guys the way they've been playing. Who knows, though? We'll see. Las Vegas to me, that's a game that Las Vegas gets. But again, I'm down on San Diego, so you guys tell me what I'm wrong. And then you got Las Vegas Desert Dogs as well, back to back to finish the season. We'll see how those games go. I'm assuming they're going to split the games each. So right now they're 5-4 right now. San Diego is, so they're above 50. They're above 500. So let's say they beat Halifax. I think that's definitely a winnable game for them at this point. Let's say they beat Toronto, and let's say they beat Vegas once. That's 3 more wins. That's going to put them in an 8 win. So they need to get at least another 2 wins out of this, I think, to really cement themselves as like that they're going to make the playoffs. Okay. So you guys let me know what you think about that. To be honest with you, like I said, I think that they're way better than I thought they were going to be. I will already say that they've exceeded their expectations with me, but I do think they've had a little bit of a cakewalk schedule. And I don't think that if they would have had a different schedule, I don't think you would see them sitting at this point. Now these guys are heartbreakers, so we'll see what happens. They did almost, hey, they lost to Buffalo in a very tight game, sudden death game in the playoffs last year, and Buffalo went on to win the championship. So you never know. Okay. So I am starting to not hate on them as much. I will say that, just to make it a little bit fair. They're starting to, I'm starting to come around to them. Now we got Oshawa, the Leafs of the NHL, or the Leafs of the National Lacrosse League, I'm going to call them, because they are the closest team to downtown Toronto. They brought in a big piece in Dawson Thied that, first off, 2 out of 3 games he's played for them, I think it's been, he hasn't performed. Or I think he's done 4. So he's performed in half the games maybe. But last night that game, he had 1 assist. Not good enough, Dawson, especially when they're giving you a first. Not good enough from Thied, especially when they give you up a first, right? Also, you've got 1 goal and assist. Isn't enough out of him. Dyson, another goal would have been nice. The hat trick, I originally thought he had a hat trick. It was only 2 though. There's just not enough offense, guys. There's not enough guys scoring. You had 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 guys who put goals in that game. That's not enough. Even if, that's only 10 goals if everyone's getting 2 goals a game, right? And that's not enough, boys. You need, I don't know what it is that you need out there, but this offense should be pumping. The beginning of the season, you guys were pumping. Your back end was fucked up. Now you've got the opposite issue where your offense is pumping, but your back end shit. I don't know. I don't know. Management needs to do something, or they need to fucking figure out what's going on with management. Now maybe you wait till the offseason. It is what it is. New home arena, but I expect to see some sort of changes by the beginning of next season. There has to be something done if this team doesn't do anything. Okay. Another thing, the players. Where the fuck are you? Like, wake up. Wake the fuck up. I'm not kidding you. You can't tell me that you go down going into the second half. It was 9-1 going into the second half. Do you guys like losing? Do you guys like being losers? Like, I can tell you right now, I'm fucking passionate, and I really liked Oshawa. I really did. I hate Oshawa now. Like, they fucking changed it on me. As of right now, I fucking hate you motherfuckers. Like, you guys are killing me. Like, seriously, it's killing me what you guys are doing. And I'm not even a fucking fan. Like, if I was your fans, I'd be savage. And let's bring it to my next fucking point. What the fuck is going on with the fan base there, man? Seriously, what is going on with the fan base there? I don't get it. I post online that I'd be disappointed. I'd be so pissed off I was a fan. And you get all these fans, Canadian as fucking ever. Well, they stopped and talked to us after the game. They're really nice. Oh, they're so good to the community. I love all that stuff. I wish I could be a fan like that. I'm way too toxic for that. I want my team to win. And of course, a lot of females are saying this in all fairness. And if you know anything about females in sports, not to be stereotypical here, but I remember last season when I was playing my son, we got slaughtered. The boys were fucking pissed. These are kids that are under U11. Boys are pissed. Obviously, like, I don't really care. It's a U11 game. I'm opening the door, like, whatever, right? But I can understand that they're fucking heartbroken and they're, all pissed off at how they played out there. And the mom comes in, right? And no one's really talking because obviously you got after a big loss. And you're like, the one mom comes in and goes, "Oh, you guys did such a good job." And they just lost like 11-2. It's like everyone just looks at her like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, get out of the dressing room." So like that's what I mean. A lot of women, and it's always women that make these comments, not to stereotype again, but it's like they always put like, "Oh, well, the team tried their best," or like blah blah blah. You are a professional lacrosse player, okay? I'm not. Fuck you. The fans need to hold these guys accountable. If they're 2 and what are they? They're 2-9 right now. Like, you can't fucking sugarcoat this anymore. This team's a fucking dumpster fire that something needs to happen. Whether that means they kick themselves in the ass and they get moving and get performing or whatever. But the fan, if you guys don't hold them accountable, no one's going to, okay? I can do it. I'll hold them accountable as much as I can. But as your own fan base, take it as a Leaf fan, okay? If you accept mediocrity, that's exactly what this team is going to put on the floor for you, and that's what you're going to watch. If you don't accept it, you will not get it. Do not accept this. This is fucking garbage. Like, do not let them fucking show up. And this is the thing. If you're not down 9-1 going into the second half, I'm not this mad. It's the fact that you were down 9-1 going to the second half, and you're like, yeah, we showed up, we did our best. No, that's not your best. And if that's your best, go the fuck home, man. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that garbage. That you show up like that. Fuck you. So fuck the management, fuck the fan base, and fuck the fucking players as well. Fuck y'all. You all need to fucking figure out what you're gonna do or go be a bunch of fucking losers. And I can tell you, I will not be part of a fan base like that. I will not be part of fans that are like that are complacent, that are okay with the fucking way their team's playing. I will not be part of a team that has management that isn't going to do jack shit. They've already tried to bring in Dawson Thied. I'll give them credit for that, but it's not fucking working. And I'm not going to be a part of a fucking fan base that will watch the players that I love go out there and show me a put on performance like that is a joke. Shit together. Whoever the captain needs to go in there and figure that shit out. And if not, give the captain to Alex, give the captain to Dyson, give the captain to somebody else because it ain't fucking working. You guys, I'll be the one that fucking says it. Go out there, show some fucking heart, and get this fucking shit turned around. You're not making the playoffs, but go show some heart. This is the most Leafy thing you're gonna do. You're gonna go and you're gonna ruin your first overall pick, and you're gonna fucking not tank the rest of the year, and you're gonna fucking we're good. We're a better team than we're showing. Go fucking prove it to me. But I can tell you, you're gonna probably win the next, the 6 of your last 7 games or whatever. And it's a joke. It's a joke. You're gonna win you'll probably win the 6 of your 7 last games and then fucking miss the playoffs. So it's a joke. So glad I was able to hop off this train before I actually committed myself to it. And until I see an improvement, Oshawa, you're a fucking joke. The whole management, players, and the fan base, go fuck yourself, boys. I'm sorry. If you're a fan that holds them accountable, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about these fans. And you know what? To be honest with you, if you're a fan that actually just enjoys your team and you can stand behind your team like that, I do have some sort of I do kind of respect it, to be honest with you. But I'm not that kind of fan, to be honest with you. And I'm a diehard Leaf fan. I got a tattoo and everything, okay? What I'm saying is that I can't fucking be a part of a fan base that is that positive, to be honest with you. I can't do it. I'm too toxic, I'm too jaded, and I want to see a team that wins. That's it. If you guys are okay with watching mediocrity as a fan base and you're part of that fans, go ahead. I'm not talking to you, or I'm not talking to fans that are like me, that are crazy, that want this team to do well. I'm talking to fans that aren't going to hold their team accountable, their players accountable when they're not playing up to the level that they can fucking play at. So I was pissed. I was really pissed, and I'm like, why am I so pissed? This isn't even my team, but it's just frustrating because I find most of the time in sports, as a fan, I'm going to speak as a fan here, obviously. To me, when I'm starting to watch a new sport, most of the time, you don't choose a team. A team's kind of picks you almost. That's what I felt like Oshawa was almost doing, and now that's off. I fucking hate them. They're fucking trash right now, okay? So I'm calling out the fan base to hold your team more accountable, calling out the players to do a better job playing, and I'm calling out the management to make a move. Now, I'm not saying right now, probably, because it's already too late. We're already fucking dug too deep. But in the offseason, we have to see a big, major move from this season, next season, or you're just going to put the same, you're the Leafs of the fucking NHL, or of the NLL if you do this. If you do the same thing, I'm calling you the Leafs of the NLL, and that's your title. You don't want that title. I'm telling you, you don't want the title. Push that fucking narrative so hard if you guys don't do anything. That's going to be the narrative. And you're in a really bad position because even if you go on a run now, I'm going to push that narrative harder. So you might as well tank and try to get the first overall pick, try to bring another fucking stud and Spalina in and try to, hopefully he can help those boys and you'll have a really good core four. You'll have a really good core four, or you'll have, maybe Theod'll hang around and you'll have those five guys. You'll be able to do something. But as of right now, the way they're playing is a fucking joke. You know what? If your fans can't hold you accountable, I'll do it. I'll say what needs to be said, and I don't care. I have players that follow me on this team. You know what? If you're one of these players and you don't and you're thinking you're playing good enough, you're not. If I have to be the one to tell you that, too bad. If the coaches aren't telling you that, then they're not doing their job either. Fucking get rid of them too. Everyone's at fault. Everyone's to blame. It's a joke. So that's all I'm going to say about Oshawa. And now I'm an Oshawa hater going forward. Maybe San Diego lover, Oshawa hater. Just switch jerseys there a little bit. No, I'm still not a fan of San Diego overly. They're earning my respect at least. I don't know. Okay. Next we have Ottawa versus Rochester. This is a massive win for Ottawa. They had 4,200 fans in there in Rochester. Rochester needs to put more fans in there, but I think that they're okay with putting the time in, right? Like investing and trying to build this new old team back up from the depth. So Rochester came out swinging right off the bat, putting 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. Where Ottawa 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and then clutching it out in the fourth, which is what you want to see. Jeff Teat stepping up big, getting 2 massive goals, getting the game winner as well. You also had that second half really won it for Ottawa. Rochester spent over half the game with the lead, which is huge. Ottawa, like I said, they clutched it at the end. You had on the Ottawa side, you had Robert Hellier getting 3 goals, 3 assists, when 5 loose balls. You had Jeff Teat getting 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points with 12 loose balls and 2 caused turnovers. He was massive. You had a goal and 3 assists for 4 points with Riley O'Connor. You had Larson Sundown get 2 goals and an assist. You had Liam Ashton getting a goal and an assist. You had you had Connor Kiernan getting 2 assists. You had Sam Firth getting a goal. You had Jake Sanders and Andrew Bugatti getting an assist each. And you had Reed Kurtz going 7-22 in the faceoff circle. So huge on that. And on the other side of things, you had Connor Fields having a down night as well with a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Zed Williams with 2 goals, 1 assist for 3. I think he had 1 call back as well, if I'm not mistaken. You had Connor Fields getting 7 loose balls as well. Shout out. Zed Williams getting 5 loose balls, but also 2 caused turnovers. You had Graydon Hogg getting 2 goals, 1 assist. Sperry getting a goal, 2 assists. Ryan Smith getting a goal, as well as Josh Medeiros getting a goal. You had Matt Guillory getting an assist. You had as well as Chad Tutton and Tyler Biles and Ian Lloyd all getting assists as well. You had Thomas McCombie getting 11 shots on goal and 8 loose balls, but no points. That's crazy. What the heck? Then you had Jeremy Thompson going 15 for 21 for 71% in the faceoff circle, and Taylor Jensen taking 1 and losing 1. That doesn't really matter, I guess. Zach Higgins standing on his motherfucking head again, absolutely killing it, getting 58 shots, 50 saves, 8 goals against, and an 86 save percentage. Huge. Riley Hutchcraft got 43 shots, 33 saves for 76.7. Not bad, but not good enough. And this is the funny thing, guys. If Hartley would have just sat last week, he could have been in this game, and things might have changed if he was in this game. I'm just saying. It was a tight game, and I think that him playing last week might have cost Rochester a home field advantage. I'm not kidding you guys. It's crazy to say that, but it might have cost them that. So anyway, like I said, Ottawa really coming out clutch, has some guys make it happen, and that's what it's all about. Jeff Teat showing what a true captain's like and showing why he is the guy, and he's really fighting to be that MVP this year. And if Brett Dobson doesn't get it, Jeff Teat's probably going to. Next, we have Buffalo Bandits versus Halifax Thunderbirds. Over 10,000 people, packed arena in Halifax. Shout out to Halifax for that. Let's give their fans a round of applause. They absolutely kill it. They come out, they show up, and it's an amazing experience in there. I've been there, and it's great. So huge for them. And this was a tight game. I mean, you had Buffalo putting up 4 in the first, 4 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth. You had Halifax putting up 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 3 in the fourth. Tough game, guys. Buffalo, I mean, this would have been 4 losses in a row for Buffalo. It's hard to fault them and say, oh, they did such a crappy thing because it was such a tight game. Could have won either way. Dane Smith really came in clutch with that last goal, winning the game for Buffalo and clutching it out. Sorry, I don't want to blame him because he did have such a good game, but realistically, he should have had that last one. That one on Smith, he should have had. That was an open shot that I was like, he probably should have had that one, honestly. So, yeah. Halifax, too, again, didn't come out and seem like they were really ready to play. They have to be ready to play. It's a big thing. They need to show that they want it, and they need to kind of get the lead. They had a lead. They didn't have a lead the whole game. They didn't take the lead at all. So that's a problem. You need to it's very important. It's harder to come back rather than just go ahead and take it out right away. So it's and as you can see, as the game went on, it was tight. It was really tight. I think Buffalo, the second quarter really gave them the space they needed. Coming out that second quarter. Again, Halifax just didn't seem ready to play, in my opinion, as much as they should have. You had, Randy Stotts starting off hot with 2 goals, I will give him that, but that was it. Randy Stotts went quiet after that a little bit. On the goal scoring portion, he's still an assist machine, right, this year. But Halifax does need more guys who can finish the job. All right, so let's start with Buffalo. Dean Smith got a goal and 6 assists. The only goal that mattered, though, was he came up clutch, man. Got 5 loose balls, and he's obviously trying to be more of a playmaker. E. McKay got a goal and 5 assists. Josh Byrne got 2 goals, 3 assists, so a bit better of a game for Byrne, but still nothing like he was playing at his level last year. I think he is playing somewhat of an injury there. You've got 2 goals for Nanticoke. You got Scanlon with a goal and assist. Buchanan with a goal and assist. With a goal. You got Cam Wires with a goal, as well as Spangler with a goal. Spanger with a goal as well. And then Nelson with an assist, as well as Weiss, Priolo, Matt Vince also all had assists. You had Desnew. Desnew getting 14 loose balls is absolutely massive with caused turnover and a block shot. Like, big game for him coming back. No points, but huge game. Then you had 11 for 25. Connor Farrell in the faceoffs, going 44%. So not great, not what you want, to be honest with you. You need a little bit better than that. On the other side of things, CP24 still performing at the highest level with 3 goals, 4 assists. You got Randy Stotts, 2 goals, 5 assists. Jason Knox with 2 goals, 2 assists. You got Cody Jameson with a goal and 2 assists. Stephen Cohn with a goal and assist. You had Bo Hunter with a goal and assist. Played an amazing game. A lot of people saying he had his best game ever there. You had Bombear with an assist. You had Graham Hosak with an assist. Tyson Bell with an assist, as well as Terfenko with an assist. Terfenko, though, potted one right off the bar. And I mean, that's the difference. Like, this is a game of inches. This was tight. Withers going 14 for 25 with 56%, which was actually kind of down for what he normally is. Then you had Matt Vince having an amazing game, 51 shots, 41 saves, 80.4 save percentage, huge. You have Warren Hill only playing 17 minutes. I find they're very premature to pull him. You had 21 shots, 14 saves with a 66.7 save percentage. I get it, his save percentage was low, but to only let him play 17 minutes, I don't know. Hutchinson, on the other hand, like I said, had a very good game with 24 saves. And he had an 85 save percentage. Like I said, that last one, I think he probably could have had. To be honest with you, I get it. You got to do something, right? It's such a close game. Whether you play Hutch from now on, I don't know. But I don't know. I do find they kind of pull Hill a little bit soon, to be honest with you. That's just my take on it. And I'm a big Warren Hill fan. You've seen what he can do this season already. So yeah. But huge night for Matt Vince. And Buffalo needed this win. This would have been the first time they lost 4 in a row and God knows how long. So shout out to him. He had Vince was really good. Halifax needs a win. I want to go touch on Halifax real quick here. We'll go Buffalo too, actually. So Buffalo, to start off, Buffalo they have a hard schedule. They needed this win. This is a big win for them. They've got, obviously, they're halfway through the season. They have Vancouver, then Saskatchewan, then Toronto, then Colorado, San Diego, Saskatchewan again, Vancouver again, Rochester, and Oshawa. I don't like that schedule. I'm not going to be surprised if they miss the playoffs. They are going to have to steal some games here to come out on top and make this a go of this, to be honest with you. And then on the other side of Halifax, a lot of red there, boys. Like, to be honest with you, like, they beat Oshawa to start the season. Buffalo, they beat as well in a tight game, 9-8 game. That could have went either way. That was an OT game. Then you got Saskatchewan, lost back-to-back games there. I mean, to be honest, I was like, okay, not the end of the world. I thought they would have maybe got one of them. The one game was a 1-goal game. Ottawa, they beat Ottawa, which was a must. That was a must-need game now. Oshawa, I thought they probably should have got Oshawa again, but they split the series, so it is what it is. Then you got Colorado. Again, Colorado's one of the best teams in the league. Nothing to really be ashamed of losing to them. You got Georgia, same thing, same story. And then Buffalo, realistically, when you look at the only bad loss they've had, they really haven't had an overly bad loss yet. Like Oshawa, this last Oshawa game, you could say that was a bad loss. Or the Oshawa game, the second Oshawa game was kind of a bad loss. Colorado, man, with losing 11-6, not scoring enough, it was rough. But Colorado's got a good defense, same as Georgia. Like, they've had a really hard schedule. Now, Halifax, I'm still a Halifax believer. I'm such a sucker for this team. I might be the same way as I was this week with Oshawa, with Halifax next week, but they got to go win that San Diego game. They win that San Diego game, they go into Calgary, they should win that game. Then you got Las Vegas. I mean, that's going to be a must win for them. They're going to have to win that game. They're going to have to go on a run. Toronto Rock is a beatable game, but Toronto could get them as well. That is at home, though. You have Georgia. Georgia probably a loss, to be honest with you, the way they've been playing. Philadelphia, that should be a win. Rochester, that's a both. That could go either way. I really do believe that. Rochester, did they already beat Rochester once? They haven't beat Rochester once, but I do think they have the guys who could win that game. Vancouver, that's probably a loss. Let's be real. And then Ottawa to finish the game off, finish the season off, and that could be a playoff game. Who's gonna make the playoffs? That's tight. So right there, right when I count real quick, that's a both. What do you got? 6 wins possibly. I'm seeing 6 wins maybe. I could see more if they can pull some games they shouldn't win at this point. 9 wins, 9 and 9 going to be enough to make the playoffs? I don't know. This team's a bubble team still. I still think I wouldn't count these guys out yet. I don't think it's quite time to panic if you're a Halifax fan quite yet. At the end of the day, it is getting to crunch time, and they are going to have to start pulling some wins together. And they're going to probably have to steal a couple of these games. Like San Diego, who's been good. If San Diego beats Halifax, I'll call them the real deal. I will, for real. And I'm already calling San Diego the real deal in a sense, but I do think they're a little bit miragey still, but we'll see. Calgary, they should beat for sure. Las Vegas, that's going to be a one they're going to have to win if they want to make the playoffs. Toronto, for sure, out of one of those two, for sure, they're going to have to win. Georgia, that's a game. I don't think they win that game. Not the way Georgia's been playing. Philadelphia, they win that game. Like Georgia, they already lost to. They lost 11-7. Philadelphia, they get that win. Rochester, I personally think they beat Rochester myself, but it really depends on where Rochester's sitting, so I'm not going to count that. Vancouver, I don't think they beat Vancouver and Ottawa. So yeah, they got I count 5 or 6 wins there. Like they're they're on the verge. They gotta steal some games, and we'll see where we're looking at closer. But they're definitely not going to get a home field advantage, which sucks because I want to see them I want to see a Halifax game at home, and that might not happen playoff game, but it is what it is, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. They got a road, but I do think they've had a really tough schedule this year. I do think that you're gonna. Hopefully they got to pull some wins out of their ass though here, boys. So next week they lose next week, and I'm gonna have a meltdown like I did with Oshawa, to be honest with you. Because I do have a soft spot for Halifax, obviously too. I really want Halifax to go deep. I wanted them to win the championship this year. I thought it was their year this year, and obviously now they're just going to be scraping to try to get into a playoff spot. So welcome to the National Lacrosse League, where you really don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so then we got their final game of the week was Georgia versus Calgary, and Georgia pulling off an amazing win. They had over 10,000 fans on a Sunday, which was a massive on a Sunday. That's 2 games in a row, 10,000 plus fans. Calgary's got one of the best fan bases in the league, and I don't think that can be argued. I really don't. And if you argue that, you're probably wrong, to be honest. Calgary. They came out and honestly very back and forth first half. Georgia did take the advantage, but overall tight. The second half, the third quarter, Calgary came back. They made up the ground, and then the fourth quarter, Georgia being a veteran team that they are, a little bit mixed. They're definitely a mix, but they've got some really key veteran players, especially in Lyle. And Lyle, oh my God, that one goal where he leaped up, faked the right, went to the left, hang time in the air was amazing. They obviously, wanted to make sure it was a good goal, but you seen the twine ring before his foot came down. Like what a games. Georgia got 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 5 in the fourth. And Calgary got 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, and 0 in the fourth. To be honest with you, Calgary ran out of steam, and they just couldn't finish it. But Georgia played absolutely fantastic. Calgary did have the lead for all of 2 minutes and 49 seconds, and Georgia held the lead for over 30 minutes, 33 minutes. You had some goals called back. Like this is a weird game for sure. You got almost half the penalties come in the fourth. We're done with too many roughing, couple roughings, and a holding. So on the Georgia side of things, you have Nolan Byrne, 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. Huge night for him. Absolutely massive. You had Brian Cole with 5 assists, massive for him too. Huge. 4 loose balls as well. You had Lyle Thompson with 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. 11 shots on goal with 5 loose balls. Massive. Then you had Jordan McIntosh with a goal and 2 assists. You had Shane Jackson with a goal and assist. Caleb Benedict with a goal and assist. Keen Moon with a goal and assist. I love Keen Moon. Shout out to him. Jacob Hickey with a goal and assist. Michael Grace with a goal. 5 loose balls, 1 caused turnover. Absolutely massive. Just killing it. And you had Eccleston getting an assist, as well as Weidman and Chapin. You had Ben Trumbull going 1 for 13 in the faceoff. A couple other guys, Jack Travausis went 0-5, and Mike Manley went 0-4 in the faceoff circle. And on the other side, you had Ignacio, 2 goals, huge night for him. Also, 21 for 22 in the faceoff, absolutely massive. The only one that schooled him was Trevor Baptiste earlier this season, but he is one of the most elite faceoff guys. 6 loose balls as well. Obviously, he's a faceoff guy. You got Brandon Maya with a goal and assist. You got Tanner Cook with 2 assists. You got Hayden Dixon with a goal. Jacob Dunbar with a goal. Pace with a goal. New recruit Jacob Dunbar there as well. Sorry. Then you got Riley Lowen with an assist. Suka with an assist. Pepper with an assist. Aiden Walsh with an assist as well. Liam LeClaire showed it to him. He got 6 loose balls as well. So did Salama. So the back end's doing their job as well in Calgary. But there's one. They're the big difference maker over there, and his name is Brett Dobson. He went 42 for 36, 42 shots, 36 saves, 6 goals against average for an 85.7% save percentage. And you got Aiden Walsh playing pretty much the whole game. 50 shots on goal, 40 saves with an 80 save percentage. So Aiden Walsh, honestly, overall, not a bad weekend overall. And Brett Dobson, though, is on a whole nother level. He's absolutely phenomenal. Gonna win goalie of the year. Gonna win MVP probably, especially if he can get his playoff. Like if he brings his team to the playoffs, 1,000%. he is the MVP. I don't think these things are getting less and less debatable. And it sucks for Jeff Teat, who's probably having an MVP caliber season for sure. Brett Dobson is the MVP. If you're talking who's the most valuable player, it's Brett Dobson. Who's the best goalie in the world right now? Brett Dobson, week over week over week. And some other guys step up to his plate a lot of times or to step up to his level, but he's doing it week in and week out. Like you've seen Higgins have really good numbers this week, who's probably my goalie of the week. But Brett Dobson's right there, right? And it's amazing to see what he's doing. Shout out Nolan Byrne too. Like Georgia's another one that's just got me hooked, man, and they're reeling me in, nice and slow, right? They're in a fantastic team. Calgary, their attendance, both nights were fantastic. They're another city people need to study. What makes everybody so crazy about lacrosse out there? Obviously, they have just the history of lacrosse. It's big out there. Very, very, very. They're another mecca of lacrosse in its own sense. Is out in Alberta. Right. So anyway, see where are we at right now? Oh, we're already 2 hours. Okay. Okay. So this is getting very lengthy because that was a very lengthy, in-depth. That was a very in-depth thing, right? So so I'm gonna give you my anything lacrosse awards. So starting off, we're gonna go game of the week. I'm gonna add this in because I don't usually talk about it. But game of the week, I gotta give it to Vancouver, Saskatchewan. That game was fantastic. Honorable mention would be Buffalo, Halifax. That was a great game to watch too. But something about the preview for what I think might be the finals, a good chance to be the finals. That's gonna be a heartbreaker for either one of those teams. And Vancouver's starting to live up to the hype that they had before the season. Saskatchewan is showing every finish. And are they gonna lose a game at home all season? I don't think so. I'm done betting. I'm done betting against them. I haven't done for about 4 or 5 weeks now, and I'm done betting against them. I won't bet against Saskatchewan. Moment of the week. I'm gonna add this one in here too. Like moment of the week, I'm gonna give it to the Gash hits. A Gash is a clean hit. We already talked about all of it, but it just brings eyes to the sport. And I know a lot of people don't really like that in the sense that that's what we're trying to sell. But it's a shocking moment. It's a massive hit, and it's gonna be one of those hits that are probably gonna be around for a long time. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give my player of the week. I mean, this is my offensive player of the week to Mr. Berg. Okay, there you go, guys. I'm not such a hater, am I? I'm coming around. Wesley Berg had a goal, 7 assists, 9 points. And to be honest with you, Wesley Berg is doing what he needs to do to help this team win. He's not focused on himself. And that's honorable. And that's tremendous to see. So I want to give a shout out to him for player of the week because he deserves it. He played offensive player of the week. He played absolutely fantastic. And like I said, it's just amazing to see. It's amazing to see how he went from such a goal scorer last year. I think he put up 50 to what he's become this year. It's like a completely different type of player, not in a bad way, but he's really making everybody better around him. And I thought he might be on the trade block, but obviously San Diego's going to push it for a run, and he ain't going nowhere. So good on them. Good on them. Now, defense of the week. It's hard, guys. How do I not go with somebody off Georgia? Colorado. It's fuck. All right, I'm going to give my defense player of the week to Michael Grace, man. I know there's some other guys. It's a little bit more like, loose ball stats and stuff. Michael Grace had a goal. He also had 5 loose balls and a caused turnover, and just his presence out there. Like a lot of people are talking about Brett Dobson, rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. I can tell you right now, Michael Grace has been a shining star this season. Like he is a big reason why that team's back end so good, and he's going to be here for a long time. I'm telling you right now, that kid is an absolute stud. Not as many people talk about defensive players, and I mean, it's a big reason why you win championships. Defense wins championships, and Michael Grace on top of Brett Dobson is going to be, if this team can go get a championship, whether it's this year, next year, 3 years down the road, 2 are going to be a big reason why Georgia can go do that. Definitely defense player of the week, rookie of the week. I have to go with Mr. Nolan Byrne, also from Georgia. The fact that he's up on the top of the list, I got to give him my rookie of the week for sure. And then we got goalies of the week. I'm going to give you as much as it's easy. I could sit here and give this to Brett Dobson every freaking week. Brett Dobson is when 42 shots, 36 saves, and an 85.7 percentage. So absolutely, is Brett Dobson eligible? He would be. But my goalie of the week, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be two weeks in a row, because this is what I'm saying. It's when Higgins is on, it's going to be Zach Higgins with 54 shots, 45 saves, with an 83.3 save percentage. I know Brett Dobson technically had a better save percentage. Don't get me wrong. But Higgins, the way he's playing, and he is the difference maker. Zach Higgins. Now, Zach Higgins is my goalie of the week. He had 58 shots, 50 saves for an 86.2 save percentage. So even a little bit better than Brett Dobson. Brett Dobson is still fantastic, don't get me wrong. And he could be the goalie of the week. I wouldn't be surprised if he's, with the way his goal against is so low, I wouldn't be surprised. But Zach Higgins, this is the difference. Ottawa, when Jeff Teat's on and Zach Higgins are on, they win. When Zach Higgins is off, Jeff Teat's on, they still sometimes win, but they tend to lose. When Jeff Teat's off, they lose. So it's, to me, Zach Higgins is such a massive piece, and this is what I mean. I said very vocal about Zach Higgins. I said he was the second best goalie in the league coming in. It was Christian and then Higgins. Brett Dobson obviously is number one. Then Del Bianco, I would say. Right now, I would say I'd still put Higgins in that category. Regulieri is another one that you could have had as your goalie of the week. He had a big game too. To me, Zach Higgins, the way he's played the last 2 weeks, if he can continue playing at this level, Ottawa's going to the playoffs, Ottawa's going deep, and Ottawa's going to have a fantastic time, honestly, this season. And we need to see Ottawa's looking pretty good right now because they're what? They're six. They got 6 wins. They're 6-4. Like that's really good. So there you have it. There's my players of the week, guys. Now let's go into standings real quick. So standings. So you've got Saskatchewan at 9-1, just insane, guys. 123 goals for and 94 goals against. Colorado Mammoth, even better, man. Like Colorado Mammoth is 8-2. You got Georgia with 7-3, Vancouver 6-3, Toronto Rock 5-4, San Diego Seals 5-4, Ottawa Black Bears are 6-5. Rochester is 4-5. Buffalo is 4-5, as well as Las Vegas Desert Dogs. Halifax Thunderbirds are 3-6. Philadelphia Wings are 2-7. Calgary Roughnecks are 2-8, and Oshawa Firewolves are 2-9. They have 102 goals against and 131 goals against. Sorry, they have 102 goals for and 131 goals against, and they're a -29. So is Calgary Roughnecks. They are also a -29 as well. So that's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. You've got, and Saskatchewan and Colorado are ironically a +29. So you got the top teams at a +29 goal differential, and you have Calgary and Oshawa, bottom two teams, with a -29 goal differential. So huge. And Saskatchewan holds the longest streak at 8 wins right now as well. Let's go into leaders real quick. So right now we have Jeff Teets leading the league with 11 games played, 30 goals for, 48 assists, 78 points at a 7.1 point per game average and a 19.2 shooting percentage with 156 shots. So way leading the league with shots over and above everyone else. And also 8 power play goals, which is way higher than everyone else as well. Then you got Connor Fields with 9 games played, 27 goals, 37 assists for 64 points, 7.1 points per game average, massive with a 22% shooting percentage. Then you got Robert Hellier tied as well at that second spot with same 23 goals, 41 assists for 64 points. Then you got Alex Simmons with 26 goals, 37 assists, 63 points. Keegan Ball with 20 goals, 43 assists for 63 points. And you got Dane Smith with 21 goals, 41 assists for 62 points. Mitch Jones, 21 goals, 37 assists for 58 points. Ryan Keenan with 22 goals, 35 assists, 57 points. Will Malcolm with 20 goals, 34 assists for 54 points. Ryan Launchberry and Riley O'Connor Ryan Launchberry has 15 goals, 39 assists for 54 points. So there you have it. There's your top 10 point getters right now. Callum Jones has still got the most caused turnovers at 22. Alex Simmons has the most turnovers at 49. And the loose balls, Zach Currier, 113 loose balls, absolutely massive. Jake Withers obviously has 111. And then Callum Jones has 103 loose balls. Huge. He's killing it, guys. He is absolutely killing it. Zach Currier, I don't know if you can count him as a defenseman. I don't know if you count him as a transition player. I don't know if you count him as a fucking as a forward or as an attacker. I really don't know what you count him as. Classify him. I think he's still classified technically as a defenseman, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go see what they're saying here. So he's a transition technically. So I mean that's pretty huge. Anybody who's got him as a transition player is killing it this week. They killed it this week. Okay, now we'll go to goalies. Goalies, guys, you have I'm gonna go with just starters here because there's a couple guys you have technically Connor O'Toole and Tyler Carlson are on top. We have Brett Dobson with an 85.9 save percentage, crazy 68 goals against. He's averaging right now a 7.03 goal against average, which I think it might be the lowest ever, if I'm not mistaken. Whittam is another one up there, but again, he's not he hasn't played enough, but he has played 30 minutes and he's still, he's up there, which is impressive. Dylan Ward, you have Dylan Ward, insane. He's also got an 82.3 save percentage. Christian Del Bianco's got an 81.1 save percentage. Nick Rose has an 80.6. Nick Demuda is an 80. He's got an 80% right on the nose. Mickey is right there under that, 79.4. Dougie Jameson's at 79.1. And then it goes down from there. Mr. O'Reilly too, honestly, he's at a 78 save percentage, but his last few games have been unbelievable. He's another shout out that people aren't talking about, and he absolutely killed it. All right, so this has been a long podcast, guys. I've got a lot in here, so I'm going to kind of finish this up here, but we're going to go through a preview for next week. Next week, we have Colorado. We got a light week, only 4 games. So you got on Friday, you got next week, you got Colorado versus Toronto. Colorado's going to take that one. Toronto, honestly, you might see a little bit of an upset here because Colorado's probably due for a loss, but I don't see Colorado losing, to be honest with you. They're so good. Toronto is scrappy. They're going to be fighting for that playoff spot, though, so you never know, and it really depends. You need everything firing, so you need good goaltending. Hopefully Nick Rose, I don't know when he's going to be back, but hopefully he's back sooner than later. You got so Colorado is going to take that one. I got Buffalo versus Vancouver. I'm going to take Vancouver on this one. Buffalo, you never know. Do not count Buffalo out. Don't get me wrong. But Vancouver at home, they're again trying to stay in that top tier, trying to fight for a home playoff spot, and I just don't see them losing this one. Halifax versus San Diego. I'm going to take Halifax on this one. This is a must win game for Halifax in order to try to keep remaining in a playoff spot. If you, it's funny, San Diego is going to really piss me off here, but no, if you see them losing in San Diego, you're going to see the same reaction I had in Oshawa that I'm going to have about Halifax. So it's coming. I haven't got there quite yet. Oshawa's kind of overshadowed my thoughts for Halifax a little bit, but Halifax I do find to still have a lot of potential. The feed trade doesn't make sense to me. It makes way less and less sense. Some people say, oh, he wanted out. Well, he can want out all he wants, but he's going to show up to work. So let him go is a joke. Like, you could have used his scoring. Now, this weekend might not be the best example, but he had 5 goals weekend before, so you could use his scoring. And then finally, you got Saskatchewan versus Philly. I'm going to take Saskatchewan this one all day. Saskatchewan is an absolute animal. There's no way they're losing to Philly. Now, Philly, again, will they shock the world? Maybe I'll throw a little upsetty on there, but right now, I'm telling you right now, Saskatchewan is it's cooked. Okay, Saskatchewan's cooked. Saskatchewan's going to take this one, and they're going to continue the run. And who knows how many games they're going to lose? They might lose. Like I said, when I counted all their games up, I thought maybe they lose 1, maybe 2 more. So they're going to finish at worst, like I said, 15-3 this season. But if they finish 17-1, not going to be surprising to me. So there you have it, guys. There's episode 36. Again, I apologize. I only did the one last week. Last week, I'll be doing another one this week. I just want to say thank you to anybody who's still listening. This has been a very long podcast. You know, we had a long interview on there. I talked a lot during these. I can fill, like, this is what I mean. When I was doing the 2 podcasts, it was really for timing because I didn't want to do 2-hour podcasts. Well, this is going to be whatever it's going to be once I edit it and speed it up a little bit. But I want to say thank you for anybody who's still listening here. Comment something. Join the Discord, because obviously if you are listening at this point, you're obviously you must like my stuff enough to be listening this long. So I want to say thank you to everybody for listening, taking the time. Drop a comment with anything you guys want to hear me say. Drop a comment telling me how crazy I am for some of my takes. Drop a comment for anything, okay? I know I'm gonna probably hear from the Oshawa fans, and I don't give a shit, to be honest with you. The ones that are the other fans that actually care will actually enjoy that. I think they'll actually enjoy what I said, because I wish I could be a fan. Like I said, I wish I could be a fan where I'm just like, oh, great job, guys, you did so good. But this is professional sports, and that's not how it is. You want to win. Winning is fun. Okay. Oh, just get out there and play the game. No. You go out there to win. Okay. As fans, we want to go watch a team that wins. And if team's not winning, you got to do something to get it to go. It's professional sports. It's ruthless. I know it's ruthless. I'm not playing the game. I get it. I'm just a fan. But I can tell you, this is just going to get louder as I try to get more fans in here. It's going to get louder. Okay. These players better get fucking thick skin. Management better get thick skin. It's coming, guys. This is all going to change. And then, so other than that, guys, there's the episode. Thanks for coming, and we'll talk to you later. So my name's Jake McDonald. I'm anything across. This game never sits still. We will talk to you guys later.